Alrighty, cool.
So just tell me when you're ready, huh?
Yeah, sure. Um, it's receiving my content. Alright. I am live right now. Okay.
Okay, so like just first of all, thank you for having time to have this debate. I also want to say for people who want to check it out, is Vegan Gains on YouTube. I'm gonna also put this debate on my YouTube channel. I don't know about you. Like I guess, yeah, you're
Yeah,
streaming on it
it's
right now.
streaming to YouTube right now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll link
And
your YouTube channel and... Are you on Twitch at all? Did you want me to
yes,
link your
I'm streaming on
Twitch?
Twitch right now.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, it's quite simple. Like I'm gonna be, the meat eater, and try to, tell me why I should stop eating meat. And yeah, I would say like the word is yours. I would say you can maybe start with health, but it's up to you, of
Well,
course.
I'd like to start with ethics first and then maybe move outwards from that. Like, then we can cover health and environment and other benefits like that. Um,
Okay.
so, from my
So you think
perspective,
like,
sorry?
so you think the ethical argument is by far the most important one, the health argument.
Yes, at least to me, and I think
Yeah.
it's the most meaningful thing to argue.
Okay, okay.
Right.
So basically, the health argument is not one you want to talk about first.
Not first, like, we can branch out, like, from
Sure,
ethics towards that. If you
sure. No problem.
prefer to talk about, like, health first, that's fine.
Okay. Well, like I think, like since health is not as important, maybe it's a good it's a good way to start the debate and then go into the morals, because I think once we start talking about the morals, we will probably end up mainly talking about that. So maybe it's good to basically tackle each point, but of course it's your call.
Okay, sure. Like, let's just start with ethics. I think it's
Okay,
good to
sure,
start with
fine.
that. So, from my perspective, if you believe in the concept of human rights, like, humans should have the right to live, you shouldn't kill people, steal from people, rape people. If you believe in the concept of human rights, then I think it's only logical to extend those rights to animals. So that's my perspective on things.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, the way I look at it is the reason why I'm eating meat is because it is something that increases my experience, improves my experience, and makes my life more comfortable.
Okay, so you're saying because it benefits you personally, it's therefore morally justified?
Well, you're talking about the moral argument. The way I
Right.
look at it is more so that since comfort is what drives me in my life, and I really value my experience the most, I just see how I can be, functional in society and just, do just do my all my duties. But since meat eating is not one of them, I just, don't mind so much eating meat.
Okay, so you're saying that because a it's not a social taboo, like you're not breaking any kind of social contract by eating meat, and it gives you pleasure, you don't really see any problem with doing that?
Well, I just see that, like since I just go through life valuing my experience and comfort the most,
Okay.
like I don't see why I should, stop eating meat, because I just, live a more happy life. Like I don't have to be confronted with annoying situations with my family, and if I go to restaurants, I get to eat whatever I want. Like it's just much easier for me to just live a life where I'm a meat eater.
Okay, I see what you're saying. The issue here, you're not really looking at things from a moral perspective. It's really more a personal convenience perspective. And it's not
Oh
even
my God.
necessarily convenience, it's really just what you enjoy doing.
Yes, but like what's wrong with that?
Well, if you're only going to value your own personal experience, then you could say, oh well,
I'm just saying, I'm not saying I only value my own personal experience. I say I value that the most. Of course, I also value, to an extent, the experience of my family, of my children, of, the people around me.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So you like clearly aren't like a psychopath or a sociopath, so you do actually value the lives of your friends, family, and maybe just other people you don't even maybe know,
Yes, but
correct?
I have to say though, if it comes to a push to shove situation where it's me or someone else, I would pick me, of course, if I'm in a,
Right,
in
right.
a life death situation.
Right.
Like,
I think that's reasonable. That I'm pretty sure most people would have that kind of perspective on things. So, what actually, like, what are the traits that other people have that make you value their lives?
well, it's just like a lot of it has to do with, how I grew up, social conditioning. I can perfectly imagine if I would have grown up in another situation, in another country, with different values, with a different culture, my paradigm would be very different. But
Well,
we
I'm
live in a
sure,
society.
like, I'm sure it would. Like, if we grew up in Saudi Arabia, I'm sure we'd both be Muslim or something like that. We'd have a different set of values. But considering the values you have right now, what is it that makes you value human lives? Like, why? Like, obviously, you wouldn't use the same reasoning, to
Well,
justify like killing
like
a
honestly,
person. So there has to be
like
specific traits that
like
you
honestly,
value.
I will really directly answer your question. Honestly, I don't even give it so much thought. I just live my life. I live a happy life. I don't think about all these things. I just go about life in a very, experience rich ride, and I just take it to the fullest, and that's all. I don't really keep myself busy with all these argumentation, why this, why that. I just live my life, and that's it.
Right. Well, you're kind of in a position where you have to think about things. Like I'm just asking you, think about it. Like, what is it about a human being that makes you value their lives and their own personal subjective experiences, but you don't value animals to nearly the same extent?
Well, because like just as much as, like animals, eating animals, right? And is very different than killing humans, Like that's like to me, within society, I still value humans more than animals. And we live in a society where, like, like it's not just a society, just it's just a situation where I'm like, why should I, be busy with it? Like it's not a priority in my mind. It's not something that I carry around. I just live my life, and
Right.
I enjoy it to the fullest. And all these, the thought process and the values behind it and stuff. Like honestly, to me, if I'm satisfied and fulfilled, why do I even need to know that stuff? Why do I even need to keep it busy if my experience and my comfort is what I value the most? And there is no, I truly have no initiative or even an agenda or even a motive to even question these things. Like so why should I, if I'm living a great life? Why should I even think about these things? Because I could think about the situation in Israel and Palestine or the war in like Syria, but I just live such a better life, so much more comfortable, so much more rich in experience by just letting it all outside my head. I don't think too much. I just live my life. And why would I change that if it really creates a very stable, strong, structured life where like I just enjoy the ride, and that's all. Like nothing else, nothing more. So I don't really even understand why I should even think about it. Like if it's, to me, it's I don't value it. I don't value all this argumentation. I don't value all the reasoning behind it. I just value my experience. That's all.
Okay, well, what I'm hearing is you're basically telling me you just don't personally care about the ethics of eating meat, and all you really care is, like, it gives me pleasure, there's not really much consequence from eating it, and I'll just keep doing it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if we're going to have that sort of mindset, then somebody could just say, well, I don't care about other people. I only care about my own experiences and what pleasures me. And so I'm just going to go out and rape women.
Okay.
Like
But the thing
just
is, like, if
because
you go and rape a
well
woman,
listen, just because you say you don't care about something, it doesn't mean it doesn't matter.
okay, but like now you're talking, you're saying like because I value my comfort and because I value my experience, I just go out and rape people. I mean, like I'm not a sicko. I'm not.
Well, I'm
I'm
not
not
saying
going to
you
do
are,
that.
and obviously there's a reason
But my
why.
question is why? Like I'm not like why do you suddenly turn me into a rapist
Well, I'm not.
while
Well, I'm not. And I'm pointing out there's a reason why you don't think it's okay to rape people, and I'm also assuming you don't think it's okay to murder people. So
yeah
why is that?
because it doesn't make me comfortable at all. I mean, I grew up
Oh, yeah, right,
in a
right. It does.
society where
Well, I'm sure it would make you feel terrible if you did those things. So why is that?
because like that's the thing when you say why do I not rape people or why do I not go murder people, to me like just the reasoning behind it, right, just the logic, just the argumentation, I don't care about it. I just don't feel comfortable with it doing it, and that's it. Like that's what
Right,
drives
but
my lives,
why?
and that's what
But
drives, but wait, it's important, that's what drives my life and drives the life of a lot of other people, and it works. I mean, society works.
well,
Like so
right.
I'm just like why should I even be breaking my head over these things if I can just enjoy watching Game of Thrones? Why should I even think about it? Like, if my experience is better.
Well, what you were kind of describing there was a social contract. Most people don't want to, murder and rape each other. And there's a very easy explanation for that. It's called empathy, and it's what we base our moral systems off of. You understand that you are a sentient being who can experience pain and suffering, and you care for your own life and well being. And you can also recognize that other people are sentient and they care for themselves and their own well being. And
Like, honestly, when I hear what you're saying, I would just say, like, from my perspective, you're overthinking it. I just go through life as a ride, and that's it. And I
well,
enjoy my life, and I don't harm other people, and I just do what I can do to just live, feel like a nice experience, nice comfort, and that's it.
well,
Like
why don't
I
you
don't
harm
feel
other
like,
people?
say what?
Why don't you harm other people? Like, what makes you feel uncomfortable about that?
I'm just saying, like my current lifestyle, just
Right, but think about it. Like,
you
what
could
makes
maybe say
it?
that maybe I do harm people with the choices I make, but not within the framework of what is culturally and what is socially conditionally like really being uncomfortable or goes against my experience. Because at the end of the day, the way I live is I grew up in a culture and a society that has proven to work, and I just live the way I live, and the entire framework that we live in with the current laws or whatever, like it has worked, and as a result, like I just do I do my thing within this framework, and I enjoy my life, and that's it. I don't overthink it. I don't really use all this values and logic and stuff. Like, to me, it's just a tool. If I can use it to improve my comfort or my own experience, sure, but else why should I, like, give me a good argument why I should even think about it. Like,
Okay,
if I live a better life without even wondering about it, why should I?
the thing is, Saudi Arabia works. The society they live in works. They've been living there for how long? But women are oppressed beyond belief. They can't walk outside without a man. They can't drive. There's like huge
Yeah,
issues
but
with rape and abuse. Gay people are murdered. That society works, but there's obviously clearly things that need improvement.
like
So
what you're
you
saying,
look, look,
yeah,
would you say all of that is okay because society works?
I would just say that I don't live in Saudi Arabia. I live right now in Europe, and that is why my perspective and the way I'm
Okay, well,
culturally
the issue here is you're not being logically consistent and you're being
but I
dishonest.
don't
Like,
mind being logical.
clearly, well, you don't mind that you're being dishonest?
Oh, so you call it dishonest?
I would call what you're doing right now dishonesty because, like, giving a
Okay,
reasoning
okay.
for why
Let
you
me say
think
like, okay,
something, well, you're giving a
I'm
reasoning for why you think something's morally acceptable. You're saying, well, society just works the way it is, so why should I
But
care?
I would
Well,
say like about what is like what you say about honesty. I would say okay, like I don't value honesty as much as I value my own comfort and experience. I mean, like if I'm in a situation where I have to give up my life or be dishonest, I would like or be honest. I would say like yeah, I'll well the other way or be dishonest. I will say I'll be dishonest anytime, any day. To me, my own experience, my own comfort is more important than honesty. It's more important than logic or to make an argument. Like it's about my life as an experience, nothing less, nothing more. Like that's just like and I do think that we are completely similar in this regards.
okay, well, if somebody had that sort of same mindset and they did something to harm you, would you be okay with that?
Well, the thing is though, like if they would do something that would harm me, they would, and it would be to the extent where it is, illegal or whatever, they'd go to jail.
Right.
So yeah, basically the only thing that people can do harm to me is within the setting that we live, nothing else, nothing more. If they choose to go even a step further, they will have to face the consequences. So in that regards, even if you value experience and comfort,
Let's
you cannot
say
step on other
let's
people's,
well, let's
on other
say
people. Yeah.
let's say they did something to harm you, but there was no legal consequences to it.
Well, then it would be in my own, like if I think it is enough of an issue or whatever, it would be in my own interest to maybe raise awareness around it and maybe get politicians to reconsider. But so far, honestly, I just live my life. Okay, sometimes things go on that I don't like
Okay,
so much,
this
but
seems a little dishonest again because first you say you don't
but I
really
don't
care
mind.
what you do to other people, and now you do care and you'd actually do something to make changes, like legislative changes to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because if it doesn't
So,
happen to me and my and if it doesn't happen to me and my children or my family, then I can see myself being like more gravitating towards that if it can benefit, like if it can benefit me and my family. It's the most normal thing in the world. It's why people go to work. I mean, it's not because someone goes to work, earns a living, that that therefore he is in any shape or form dishonest or whatever. Like I just see what I can do that benefits me and my family. That's all. Like I don't mind also the dishonesty, like if you say like, oh yeah, you're dishonest, yeah, okay, like here and there I'm dishonest in my life, okay, whatever. Like it's not something that 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 is a priority in my life. I can fully embrace that. But I do think that the same applies to you though. I mean, I
okay,
also
you seem to have it's almost as if you don't care about the actual concept of human rights and morals as long as
well,
like
like the
there's no
thing is,
consequence.
what you have to understand is that the idea, right? The values, the logic, the honesty, all these things, I just don't value them. I value my experience, my own life, how I go through it. And all these other things, to me, it's like, okay, if they can help me, if they can, if they can contribute to my experience, to my comfort and all that, sure. Then
Okay.
I'll go about it to the extent that it is comfortable. I'll be honest to the extent that it's comfortable. I'll be logical to the extent that it's comfortable. When it's not comfortable, like I just rather choose my comfort above this logical, honest framework.
Okay, well,
Argument for
that
that
sort
is
of that line of reasoning could be used to justify the Holocaust. I mean, getting rid of all the Jews, stealing all their wealth and money, that
I don't
benefited a
know.
lot of German
Like,
people, but again, obviously, how we base our moral systems is a lot more complex than does this benefit me personally?
I would say that is quite of a like that's quite of a straw man argument that
No,
you're
no, no.
using
That's not a logical
because
jump. You're essentially saying like I can do anything I want to whoever I want as long as I'm comfortable with it.
I'm just saying, like within the framework how I grew up and what works, like like going around and mass murdering and whatever, if
Well,
that was
Nazi
a
Germany was
working
working.
formula, then that would be omnipresent. But it's because of the fact that, you know, laws and social contracts, or whatever you want to call it, can create a framework within the comfort experience focus that society works. So you don't have to suddenly go
Well,
and
no.
use an example of a destructive, you know, like society that even, you know, doesn't even
Here's the
you know,
issue. You're conflating two different things as if they're the exact same thing. You're trying to conflate the golden rule with your own personal well-being. They're not the same thing. In order for the rule to work, there has to be a respect of the social contract. You have to be able to respect someone else's rights and well-being, and not just your own. And what you're describing to me so far is, well, I only really care about my own well-being and maybe like my immediate friends and family, but my own well-being comes first and foremost. I don't really care about harming anyone or anything, just as long as I can stay comfortable and as long as I'm comfortable with it, it's
I
okay.
would
Well,
actually say, like, in a sense, I agree with that. But like the thing is though, like I don't see the problem in it because you are doing exactly the same thing.
no, I'm not.
You're
In what
not.
way?
So basically, you're telling me that you are a consistent human being that really tries to be as responsible as possible?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty damn consistent with my moral outlook.
So do you think that, like, when it comes down, for example, to eating healthy, right?
Right.
Do you think if you preach health on your YouTube channel and tell people to live a healthy diet and like to really consider, you know, not eating meat for health reasons,
Right.
do you consider yourself, you know, a healthy person that, you know, that acts basically in line with your knowledge about what is healthy and unhealthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll eat
I
junk
want to
food
say something,
occasionally
like
on like
before I
birthdays
go
or
on, like before I go on, because you will probably hear it. I will quickly show something to the viewers here.
I eat healthy, but you know, you gotta live a little. And right here, I've got 8 of these vanilla sprinkle donuts, and I've
Yeah,
also
it's my
got
birthday.
4 of these weird fudge donuts.
I don't see how that's a contradiction. Like,
So
yeah, I eat
basically, well, of
healthy
course you don't
the
see
vast
that's a
majority of the
contradiction
time.
because obviously, like you're fine with being as healthy like as possible as long as it, you know, fits in the realm of your comfort bubble. But as soon, you know, that you go like, oh wait, I'll just eat some donuts or whatever because it feels or it tastes good. But the thing is, like,
Well, that's not really a moral issue.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying, like, if you are having a different, if you yourself have a different moral compass that you portray.
Well, wait a
There's actually
second. Wait a
for it.
second. You're conflating two completely different things.
But wait, I
Me
just want to say, because
me being interested in health is a lot different than like any kind of moral issue we're discussing.
wait. I understand that. I understand it, but I just want to twist it because I'm going to go about the moral issue as well. But first, I want to say what the definition is of a hypocrite. A hypocrite is behaving in a way that suggests one has higher standards or more noble beliefs than is the case. And if you tell me, like, yeah, you live really healthy and you try to be consistent, like, this is already one that shows that in the health department, that is not the case.
No, that's not true.
Okay,
What do you
so
mean, like,
how are you
you
not a
can't-
hypocrite going around saying
Okay,
you're
well-
healthy instead of
well-
just eating donuts?
Well, look, like if I were to say I really believe in exercise, I think everyone should have an active lifestyle, but one day I just, you know, sit on the couch and watch video games, like that doesn't mean I'm a hypocrite. Like you don't
But
have to, well, if you say that you live a certain
If
lifestyle,
you know
it doesn't mean you have to
if
be
you know
100%
donuts are not
perfect.
healthy and you're eating them and you're preaching health on your channel, I would
Well,
consider
that's
that a
not-
hypocrite, and so would anyone that is
That's-
watching this stream
well,
right now.
no, that's not hypocrisy. Like,
Oh no, I
again-
just read the definition on Google.
well, that's not hypocrisy. I'm not preaching like some unobtainable standard that I don't even do. Like I'm not
Well,
saying you should.
like,
I've never
the
said that you
health
should
argument-
never. Well, I
like the
never
health
said you should
argument-
never ever ever eat junk food. So that's not hypocrisy.
like, when you say it's not hypocrisy, right?
Right.
You're just saying like I'm not fully healthy. Like I do sometimes, eat unhealthy, and I can understand why people that eat meat, sometimes even if it means it's more unhealthy, of course, it's just, it's life. So when it's just about health, if it's just for health, you would be completely fine for people to eat meat.
If we're looking at things from a health aspect, like I'm
Yes,
still
pure health.
okay. Well, what do you mean? Like how little meat they could eat but still be healthy?
Yeah, it's just like you eat your donuts. I eat some steak.
Oh, like how infrequently you could eat it while it not really
Yeah.
impacting your health much? Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Yes.
It would
Yes.
have to be pretty infrequently, like once a month type of thing. Like,
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, I'm just saying the health argument is not really that big of a deal. It's
well,
mean,
again, that's why I like to focus on morals first, because if we're going to look at things from a health
yeah,
aspect,
but
you
now
could
I'm going to
just,
go on morals. I just wanna, like, I'm just building a case here. Like, I can talk about morals now. I'm fine with that
okay,
because I said
so,
like at the
like,
start that we're very, very similar.
like, no, like, you're kind of conflating things again. Like, me eating a few donuts on my birthday while I'm saying, like, I
That's
eat
fine.
overall healthy, that's not the same thing as me saying,
Yes, I understand.
yeah,
I
like,
understand.
I'm an ethical person, I treat people well, and then,
Like,
occasionally I just go out and shoot people. Like,
but I
that's not
understand
the
that.
same thing.
The thing is, so like, I'm not going out and shooting people either. So you're saying
Yeah, I know,
I'm
but you basically are doing that to animals.
well. I want to say something about that because now you're talking about the moral argument, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you think, right, that you truly care about the animals?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Truly?
Yeah.
More than your own comfort?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, to a certain
Okay.
extent, like, I mean,
Okay,
if there was a
I understand.
cockroach infestation in my apartment, then if it really
Yeah.
affected my well-being, then obviously I'd
So,
kill the cockroaches.
so basically, like I will, I will project it, I will project myself in you, right? And I would think, okay, imagine that I truly care about animals, right?
Right.
Like, do you think you can do more for animals?
Then what I'm doing right now?
Yes.
I don't really think so. Like, maybe I could donate more of my money to, like, an animal sanctuary, but
Okay. So you think that in no regards you can do more for animals the way you live your life.
right,
So if you say
I
like, okay,
guess.
instead of eating these donuts, for example, I would eat some cheaper lentils and donate the difference. That is not something you could do.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean if I saved money on food, I'd donate to an animal sanctuary?
For example, or just when you go, instead of watching the movies, you just
Okay, I
put
think I
yourself.
understand what you're saying. Like, this is why it's good to establish moral baselines. So when we create laws like don't murder, don't kill, like don't steal, don't rape, all of them involve not doing something. When we create laws that compel you to do something, like which is very rare, we rarely ever have those kind of laws, and that's because it takes away personal freedoms. So if you're going to make the argument, well, you could do something more. That's not how we establish laws and moral baselines. Like, if I were going to
Wait,
tell
wait,
you, well,
wait.
listen, let me just say this. Like, if I were going to criticize you and say, hey, you shouldn't murder, and then you told me, well, you know what, you could do more to, like, stop murders and help people. You could donate to homeless shelters, you could be a police officer, investigate and stop murders. Like, no, you're compelling someone to do something, and that takes away personal freedoms, and that in itself is wrong. So we establish moral
Okay.
baselines like don't kill,
Okay. First
don't
of all,
steal.
I want to pinpoint some fundamental inconsistencies in what you say.
What?
First of all, is you're using now the laws as a way to justify your moral compass, while earlier you were using Saudi Arabia, where the laws are against women, to justify that it's sometimes up to you, your own moral compass, to decide and define what is right from wrong. First of all, second inconsistency that you're saying is that when you're doing something, if it goes against your freedom, then it is actually fine within the framework. But what if my freedom entails to do stuff that harms others? Because that's the thing. Like, if you choose to, for example, have certain habits and a certain lifestyle that goes at the cost of animals, right? Where do you draw the line saying, this is freedom, and this is my impenetrable bubble of freedom, and this is, morally wrong? Because, like, freedom goes hand in hand with responsibility. So if I tell you, like, okay, you're talking about your freedom to eat sugar or your freedom to watch the movie or whatever, but that freedom goes at the cost of, consequences, not just the inaction, but also the way, for example, what you support and how society, molds its way to even give you these freedoms. So, like, one does not go without the other. So, like, it's completely inconsistent to be able to use the card of freedom to take away all your responsibility when it comes down to doing what's right or wrong. That's completely inconsistent. Because then I can use the argument to you. I'm just free to do whatever I want. And I'm eating meat. It's my free choice. I'm not going to take away my freedom.
I'm getting a little confused here. You're kind of separating the idea of rights and rights and moral values, which is fine. Like,
but that's what you did earlier. You told me in Saudi Arabia.
Well, no, you were giving, this is what I think you're confused about. You were giving me the example of, you were telling me that basically if you'd be willing to harm someone to, help your own well-being, as long as you're not breaking any laws, and I just gave the example, well, just because you're not breaking any laws, that doesn't mean what you're doing is morally acceptable. It doesn't mean it's something you would support. So that's just not a good enough explanation to
I understand,
justify killing and eating animals, for instance. Like, that's why I gave the Saudi Arabia example.
At the same time. You actually are...
Wait, say that again? Say that again? I missed it, sorry.
So you're actually, agreeing with me that you can't use laws as a moral compass, and that's the first thing you did.
No, you can't, and that's not what I did. I was only giving an example of how you can't say, well, as long as it's legal, it's okay. Like, that's all I was trying to point out.
When I told you, can you do more, you used two arguments. You said you have first the laws, that always tell that you can only do something. It's about not doing something, and instead of like...
No. I explained how we create laws is...
Yeah, but that's irrelevant.
Well, listen. No. I think you're misunderstanding what I was actually saying. I was just pointing out that the way we create laws, we establish moral baselines. So the way we create laws is we take away... we try to minimize... we try to take away personal freedoms as little as possible when we create laws. So generally, laws don't compel you to do something. They just tell you not to do something.
I understand that, but again, you're contradicting yourself because you just made very clear that you can't use laws as a moral justification. So you can't use even the law argument to say how laws are created because we already established that morally.
Well, I'm not trying to suggest that like laws are inherently moral. I was just pointing out how we create laws.
But then you can't use that in your argument when you try to defend yourself that you can't do more because it takes away your freedoms because you use the laws as the way to justify.
It really doesn't have anything to do with laws. When I'm like, maybe I misunderstood you, but what I thought you were trying to do was basically make an appeal to futility. Well, you can always do more and more and more and more and more to benefit other people and other animals, and I was just saying, like, that's why we need to establish moral baselines. Like, moral baselines don't necessarily have anything to do with laws. Like, you're not legally required to call 911 if you see someone in trouble, but there is a social contract there where that is a moral baseline where, okay, well, that's the minimum, like, thing you should do as a decent person.
I don't agree with what you're saying at all.
Why not?
More and more, and if you truly care, you do. It's like a mother taking care of her child.
Okay, well, are you against child rape?
Say what?
Are you against child rape? Do you think it's wrong?
Am I against child rape?
Yeah, are you against grown men or grown women raping children? Is that
Yeah, of
something
course.
you're morally against? Okay,
Yeah.
so what are you doing to stop that?
Well, like I already said from the get-go, to me, it's not about the argument, it's about the extent to which my experience and comfort
Okay,
is.
okay. Well, again, you're talking
So
about
in
something
that
completely
context,
different. You're
because like
avoiding
what
the question. Well, no, you're avoiding what I'm saying. Like you're
I,
saying
I'm not
that.
avoiding what I'm saying. I'm just pinpointing that I'm more consistent
Okay,
than
well, you
you.
know what? I want you to. I just want you to clarify something. Could you go back to that thought you had about how I could always do more about like to help animals? Could you just
Yeah.
continue along that thought because I don't think we're understanding each other here.
So basically, like, if you can do more to save animals, if you truly care about animals, why at that point do you decide to experience life a bit better or have more comfort rather than just putting that effort and action into, having an even bigger impact?
Okay, well,
Because at that point you make a decision, right? My comfort, my
right.
my my, my taste is worth more than the choice of spending my effort in helping these animals.
Okay, it's this. It's essentially the same reason why, like again, this is why it's good to establish moral baselines
No, I don't
because
agree with that because I think the only
you don't think there
baseline
should be moral
should be reality.
baselines.
I think the baseline should be reality. If you talk about morals, it should be reality. It should be the consequences of your actions. There shouldn't be a
Do you
law.
understand what I mean by moral baseline?
Well, you're talking about creating a moral baseline that is culturally accepted while you use the cultural acceptance to give a reference to Saudi Arabia. I'm just saying, like, if you really want to truly create a moral baseline, you build it on reality. You don't build it on laws because you can make them up.
Well, moral baselines don't necessarily have anything to do with laws. Like again, I used the calling
Okay, so
911 when you see somebody in help kind of example.
what
Like
do
there's
you
no
use?
law that requires you to call 911 if you see somebody
I,
in trouble,
I
but
understand. I understand. But my question is, what do you then use to define a moral baseline?
okay, so what I use to define a moral baseline is I think in the way that should you expect everyone else to do this in that particular situation? Like, should that be an expectation that everyone should have? And if you don't meet that expectation, there should be social consequences. And, since we live in a modern society and we do have to create laws to make society work, should there
Okay,
be
but
legal consequences to that?
I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're again bringing up laws in your
Well, I'm not using laws as an argument. I'm just saying because we live in a modern society, like there's going to be
yeah, but
laws
like
that are created
no,
around
because
things
you
like
live in a
this.
modern society that, for example, in your case, eating meat is legal, right? Do you think eating meat should be illegal?
Yeah.
Yes, you think eating meat should be illegal. So I can use the law as an argument saying the moral baseline is the law, and for law, I'm fine to eat meat. I'm fine. It's all cool.
Well, the thing is,
Like,
our
who are
laws
you to
regarding.
decide what is the moral baseline? Who are you to do that? What is it that you use to
Well,
define a moral baseline?
I'm already using the social contracts we already have between individual humans and the laws we already have to define that moral baseline.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like so basically you're using the law to create more laws for animals?
Well, no, I'm saying that if we already have laws that protect human rights, or sorry, human life and human well-being, for the same reason we have laws that protect human life and human well-being, we should also apply those laws to animals, or else we're being
Yeah, but
logically inconsistent.
okay, there you go. You got it. That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay,
Logically consistent.
okay.
Okay, so you're talking like that's what I wanted to hear. That's why I was fishing all the time. So you're saying on a fundamental level, it's about being logically consistent.
Not necessarily on a fundamental level. What I'm basically saying is if we already have established social contracts, if we already understand, if we've already built a sort of moral system, like there doesn't necessarily have to be a legal system in place for this argument to work, but if we already have established laws that protect human life and protect human well-being, for those exact same reasons, we have those social contracts and laws that protect human life and human well-being. We should also apply those laws to animals, or else we're being logically inconsistent, and we either
So
have to
basically,
take away rights from humans or
it
give
is
more rights to
about being
animals.
logically consistent.
Sorry?
It is about being logically consistent.
Not, well, I'm not saying we should base our moral systems off of logical consistency. I'm saying we should base our moral systems off of empathy.
Of
But
empathy,
as
how you
far
feel.
as far as
Wait. I
creating,
want to go more into that. So, based on how you feel.
no, not necessarily how you feel. Empathy is a little more complicated than that.
Okay.
Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's position and
Okay.
understand how they're feeling and how they're thinking,
Okay.
basically.
So you think within that framework, you're a fully consistent human being that puts yourself in the position of other people and act accordingly.
That is how our social contracts are,
No,
like,
I'm
that's what
talking
our
about,
social contracts are based off of.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, how I do it? Well,
No,
yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
that's
do you do that? Are you consistent within the argumentation you're giving? Like, are you the person that really goes like, yeah, I have, because they call it cognitive empathy. What you're talking about is basically the ability to project in other people and just imagine, okay, what would I do in that situation, and what would I expect from others? Like, it's like
right, right.
consistency within
Yeah, that's
existence, to put it
that's
that
what
way.
I do, and that's really what other people do. Like, there are
So
things that are a bit more that make things a bit more
so in that
complex.
regard,
Like,
you're fully consistent.
um, maybe not 100%. Like, I mean,
How
sometimes
would
I get angry and I kind of lose sight of things like that. But otherwise, when I'm not angry or there isn't some other emotion clouding my judgment, then yeah.
then you're constantly being consistent within that framework where you truly project in other people, and if you think you can have a huge difference, you would do so
Sorry,
because
what's the question again?
so basically, if you project and you use your cognitive empathy to see the suffering of other people or whatever, and you know that it wouldn't take so much effort for you to have a huge impact in that, you would gladly
Yeah.
do so.
Well, yeah, like for instance, if I saw somebody get run over by a car, like I'd definitely call 911 and maybe give them CPR too if that's what
So
they
is that
need.
is that the extent to which you're comfortable being a good person, or is that the extent to which your moral compass is truly telling you what is right from wrong?
Can you explain that in maybe a bit of a different way? I'm not
So
getting what you're
basically,
asking.
does the extent to which you are right or wrong or good or a bad person just come and from your personal experience firsthand, or does it also come from your knowledge? Like, let's say, for example, you have a child locked in the basement, right?
Right.
And you didn't know, you didn't put it there, and you hear it. And if you don't open the door, it dies.
Right.
Like, would you see yourself as responsible to open the door and save the child's life, or would you say like it's not, it's in your own cognitive rhetoric?
Well, I think you should open the door and save the child.
Why?
Well, because if I were that child, that's what I'd want. Like somebody to
Okay,
just do that
I
little
understand.
bit
But
to help
what if
me.
that door is really like you really don't know where the key is. You really got to go to quite some hassle to find the key. Would you go to the hassle to find the key to open the door? Would you go like
To save
it's a bit too
someone?
much?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you would go through all this hassle.
Yeah, to save a life. Yeah, sure.
You would.
Yeah, like if you
You
wouldn't?
can just truly say in the camera, looking at the camera, and say like, if I
Yeah,
can
I
very
would.
save a life, I'd do it.
Well, yeah, it like assuming it isn't a great risk to my own life, then yeah.
But what if it's just some comfort you have to sacrifice?
Yeah, then
That's all.
absolutely.
So instead of eating your donuts, you just eat a little bit more, lentils and stuff, and as a result, you can save a life. Would you do it?
That's an interesting thought. Again,
Or maybe the donuts are maybe very tasty, but
right,
imagine,
right, right.
save a life. Not eating your donuts and eating lentils instead. Would you do it?
If I could save more lives, I don't know. Like again, this is sort of abstract, and it kind of
Wait.
requires.
It's just a simple question. Imagine you really are
Well,
in front of the choice between eating your nice, tasty donuts or eating
right.
like
I understand what you're getting at. Like you're trying to say that okay, well, if you'd inconvenience
No, I'm just
yourself in
saying
that
it's a very simple
situation,
question.
then it
Like,
only makes sense to inconvenience yourself by eating lentils and donating to like an animal sanctuary.
well, you make the connection yourself, obviously, because you know what I'm saying is true,
Well,
and
I
because
understand what you're
you know
saying,
what
but
you're doing is wrong. You know
well,
that
you're
you
not
can be.
committing. Well, that's another thing. Like your example there was a little bit too abstract, and that's
Well,
why
I can make it
again.
more concrete, but I make it
Well,
very simple so everybody
it's well,
can hear,
no,
and you can.
listen. It's a little too. What you're saying is a little too abstract. Like say, like if you were trying to save a child that's behind a locked door, that's a lot different than changing your life around and only eating certain things, only buying certain things, so you can donate more money to like, I don't know,
Do
some
you
sort of
actually
charity.
believe what you're saying right now?
Sorry?
I mean, you know you're being completely inconsistent right now. You know
No.
it yourself.
Well, no. Again,
So basically, you're
like
saying these
no.
donuts are
Well,
more important than saving a life.
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Okay, so what
is,
are you saying?
well, what I'm saying is, again, we should establish moral baselines,
No, I
and
don't think so.
they
I
don't
think what,
necessarily have to be written
like,
into law. I
I'm
know
sorry,
you want to bring that up.
vegan gains, I don't agree with that. I don't think
Well,
we
no,
should start
listen.
using the moral basement argument. I'm talking about saving a life. So my question here, if you get to
You're
choose
not
between
just simply
donuts,
talking about saving life. No, you're not just simply talking about saving life because what you're suggesting is everyone should model their life to
no,
perfectly to help other beings.
I'm just trying to see to which extent you are consistent, that's all. If you have to give up your donuts to save a life, would you do it? Yes or no? It's a very simple question because that's the reality.
Okay, well, listen, you're kind of trying to ask two questions at once here because
No, it's a very simple
well,
question.
listen, like sacrificing like what I eat and my overall lifestyle to like save a human being in one
Yeah.
like in one particular situation, those are two kind of different things. Like you can't compare
You do it
me
yes or no?
well, listen, you can't compare hearing a child behind a locked door in an abandoned
Thank you.
house and trying to
Maybe
find a
should
key
put
or
these
something to
off.
save that child. You can't compare that to expecting someone to change their life around, try to pinch pennies
Like
and save as much money as they can so that they can
vegan
donate
gains,
to a certain
vegan gains,
charity.
vegan
Sorry?
gains. I'm really going to summarize it for you so you can really
Well, I
understand it.
understand what
Because,
you're trying to say. It
yes,
is a
but you
really
also,
interesting argument.
but it goes even further. You know that I'm right.
No, I
And
don't. No,
I will,
no. Well,
yeah,
listen,
but like, let
listen.
me explain you how it is. Let me explain you
You're not
how it
letting
is.
me explain. Let me
Okay,
explain
go on.
here. Like again, I'm going to bring up the moral baseline thing, and we don't need to have moral baselines written into law. They can just be purely social contract, like an implicit morality. Um, if you're going to claim that, okay, well, if you think it's wrong to kill and eat animals, well, why don't you do everything you can to save as many animals as possible? That's like me saying, well, if you think it's okay to, well, it's not okay to kill humans, why don't you do everything in your possible power to save as many human lives as possible? Again, that's not something that we can expect of everyone. Like, we can't just we can't be Batman and do everything we possibly can to save as many people as possible. Basically, we'd have a slave nation where everyone's a slave to each other and they have absolutely no personal freedoms. And again, personal freedoms are important, but we shouldn't limit them. We shouldn't limit them just to, I don't know, be as morally selfless as possible. So we do need personal freedoms, and we do need to establish moral baselines for that reason. And I think,
Like,
considering the other moral baselines we have, like
I
don't
don't.
murder, don't steal, don't rape, it's perfectly reasonable to say don't kill animals. I don't think anyone should be obligated
Like,
to do everything in their possible power to save as many animal lives as possible. Just like how I don't believe that everyone should do everything in their power to save as many human lives as possible. It's just
okay.
unreasonable. That's why moral baselines are important, and you're ignoring that.
Like, I'm not ignoring it at all.
You
Like,
are. Well,
not at
I
all.
asked you before, do you think it is wrong to rape a child? You said yes. Well, why don't you do everything in your absolute power to prevent children from being raped?
Now you're talking about like,
I'm sure you go out to fancy restaurants occasionally. I'm sure you buy nice clothes, video games. Well, you know what? You could just save up your money, don't buy those things, and then donate to like a
are you
children's
talking to
charity.
me or are you talking to the meat eater?
I'm talking to you. Like
To
why
me.
Like, why
I don't
wouldn't
think
you
you
like?
should use me as an example, because if you do that, you will see that I do
Well, no,
eat
I'm
lentils
pointing.
all day, and I do put every single second of my life in trying to have an impact. I actually do that, and that's why I'm completely consistent within that equation. And if you tell me right
You're
now,
saying you
if
don't
you
make
tell me
any.
right now something, but wait, it's important to hear. If you tell me right now something I could do that is more consistent and has a bigger impact, I'd do it immediately. But that's not even the argument. I want to go further. I just want to
This.
say, as a meat eater, I'm exactly the same. I
Okay.
only do good to the extent that I'm comfortable with it. And the moment I start going on your donuts, look how you defend it. Even if you can save a life, you can't even let off your donuts. It's the same with
Like,
someone that's eating
again,
meat.
that's.
But the difference is, as a meat eater, or as someone that doesn't really truly want to be consistent on a fundamental level, I don't go point fingers and judge other people being a hypocrite. Because you're doing the same thing as
I'm
other
not being a
people. You're
hypocrite.
just being good to the extent that it's comfortable. I mean, how many
No,
people, by the way,
no,
how
I'm
many
saying we should
vegans,
establish moral baselines.
like, how many people do you think make a living being a vegan?
Make it. Well, I don't make a living being a vegan.
No, you have your YouTube channel, you
Yeah,
get paid
well, I make a living making
That's
YouTube videos. I'm not making a
about
living
vegan.
being vegan.
You use
People don't just give me money for not eating meat.
So you think that if you wouldn't be a vegan, right, your channel and everything you do
Well,
would
I could have just
actually,
had a normal fitness channel and
and you
yeah.
think it would cater to the vegan community and everything.
Sorry, what do you mean?
It would it would cater to the vegan community if you're just a
Well, I
fitness.
don't need to be vegan to do what I do. Like,
Well, I'm just saying, like, what you do is you have a brand that is built on veganism. You
well,
have a
right,
brand
and if I
that is
wasn't vegan, I
judging
could
other people.
build a brand not
You
based on
you
veganism.
built a brand on judging other people and creating drama so you get more Patreon donations. And the thing is, like, some people don't have the arguments to come and show that hypocrisy, but I can just
Okay,
explain
okay,
it's like that.
listen, Athene, like, I still don't think you're understanding the moral baseline argument.
Okay, so what is, like, the moral baseline? Because you were talking, the moral baseline is being logically consistent. So
No,
what is
it's
the
not.
moral
No,
baseline?
no, no. Moral baselines aren't necessarily completely
Okay, so
about
what is it?
being
It's
morally
based,
consistent.
but then you said it's based on empathy,
Well,
right?
listen. Here's the argument. Here's the argument you're making. Let me just spell this out for you. You're
Well, I'm just
saying,
asking, I'm
well,
trying
no,
to
listen,
understand what
listen.
moral
This is the
baseline.
argument you're making. If I were to switch this argument around, instead of focus on animals and make this anthropocentric, so talk about people, if I were to say it's wrong to kill people, you would tell me, well, you're not doing everything in your possible power to prevent as many deaths as you possibly can. Like, you go out and eat donuts when you could just save that money to donate to some charity that gives poor people water, which will save lives. You're not doing that, so therefore it's okay to kill people. Like,
No, I'm
that
not saying it's
literally
okay
is what
to.
you're saying. You're basically
No, I'm
trying to
not
make an
saying.
appeal to futility fallacy and say, well, if you're not personally willing to do everything in your absolute power to reduce suffering and death as much as you possibly can,
Yes.
then it's perfectly fine for me to do the
That
same.
is not true, by the way, what you're saying.
That totally
Because,
is.
no, it is not true, because you need to speak within the framework of our culture and our society that works. So, like, when you talk about
You don't
murdering
think
other
veganism would
people,
work?
say what?
You don't think veganism would work? Like, it even coincides.
No, but
It even
you're
coincides with the
talking now,
laws we already
but now you
have.
create, but now you're creating another setting where you talk veganism works. I'm just saying, like, when I go about life from my experience and comfort, it's within current society. So obviously, if
Right.
I
Well,
go
okay. You're
murder
making an
people,
appeal
I
to tradition
fail.
fallacy. Well, you're
Like,
making an appeal to tradition fallacy. You can't just say, well, because we've done it before, that means it's good.
yeah, but the thing is, though, like what you're doing with your moral, what is it? Your
Well, I'm saying we should establish
moral
moral
base, right?
baselines. We can't
Your
expect
moral
everyone
baselines is
to live completely selfless lives. So we
no.
have
But my
to be
question
able
is,
to give
where
personal freedoms to people.
like where I come from a moral compass, where I just say, like, listen up. I just experience life, live comfortable, right? Within the framework of my society and culture, and that's it. I live great. I just says, okay, that's fine. That's how I live my life.
Well, again,
And you do
that's
the
not
same
actually a
thing.
moral argument. You're basically just saying I'm selfish and I don't care.
But so do you.
No, I don't.
Okay, so why are donuts more important than saving lives?
Like,
Because
again,
that's the reality.
you're kind of misconstruing my entire argument.
Okay, but like you're talking about argument. First
Like,
of
no,
all,
no, listen, you
like it's
can't
important to
expect
understand.
people. No,
Like,
listen, it's totally unreasonable to expect everyone to live completely
vegan,
selfless lives. That's why we have moral baselines. Like,
vegan,
you're basically telling me, well, you're a hypocrite because you're not doing everything in your possible power to stop as much animal suffering and death as possible. Like, no, that's not how it works. We have to establish moral baselines. You can't
like
expect
first,
everyone to live completely selfless lives. That's unreasonable.
like first of all, I don't even want to go to the selfless argument saying it's completely unreasonable, but I will first address the other thing where you talk about, uh, why what I'm doing is wrong, where I live a comfortable life that is based on experience within society framework is completely fine, and you do the same thing.
You're making
If
an
you want
appeal. No, I'm not. You're just making an appeal to tradition fallacy. And what I'm saying is, given our own moral standards that we apply to human beings, we should also apply those same moral standards to animals for the exact same reason we have those moral
okay,
standards for humans.
so what is like, but what is it that you base yourself on? What is the core that you build your moral base on?
Empathy, and basically the
Empathy.
golden rule.
So, so when you talk about empathy, you're talking about cognitive empathy, the extent to which you can project in another person's life, right?
Right?
And be aware that, if you were the other person, the extent to which you would be mobilized to do something, right?
Okay,
Being consistent in that, right?
wait. I think you're trying to steer me in the direction of saying I think we should have live completely selfless lives again, which, again, that's not what I'm arguing.
No, I'm just pointing out your inconsistencies. That's
I'm
all.
not being inconsistent. I never said
Okay,
that everyone should live
I'm building
completely
the moral
selfless lives. I
baseline.
said we should
I'm
have
trying to
moral
go with.
baselines.
I'm trying to go with you with the moral baseline.
Okay,
Asking, what is the,
Athene, do you think we should have like laws or at least a social contract that says you should not kill another human being?
for people that value comfort and for people that value experience
No.
more than anything?
Do you think like we should have laws that say do not kill another human being?
I think that within a society where people value comfort and experience above anything else, yes, you need laws.
Okay, so how do we establish laws?
Well, the thing is,
Well,
based on reality,
Well,
based on what works.
no. You're not. You're missing the question I'm asking. How, if you think we should have a society where murder shouldn't happen, how would we go about forming that law?
But when you say murder shouldn't happen, like in what context? You don't have absolutes. Like what about,
Well,
like
self-defense,
the
yeah.
death
Like,
sentence
look,
in the,
it's already assumed that self-defense is a perfectly acceptable reason to murder somebody, but like
yeah,
unwanted killing, essentially,
but the thing
like
is,
where there's no justifiable
like
reason to do so. How would we go about setting up a law where it's wrong to murder people?
it's all based on reality because people don't care about the argumentation anyway. It's not
No,
about
what do you
honesty
mean
and
based on
consistency.
reality? No, there's a very logical there's a very logical
You're
process
talking
to
about
how we establish laws. So tell me, if we want to have a society that discourages murder, how would we set up laws that that make it illegal to commit murder? How would we set up that law?
But the thing is, the reason why you have to set up the laws is
Okay.
because people value comfort and experience more than anything else.
Well,
If we
you're
would
talking
have
about
a
a social
society
contract where people agree to certain moral values to not only
yes,
protect other
that is
people's well-being,
only
but their
that
own
is
well-being,
only
but that's not what I'm
that is,
asking.
that is only needed in a society where people are
Okay, Athene, I'll answer it for you. The way we establish laws like do not murder, we consider, okay, how can we apply this law while giving people the most amount of personal freedoms as possible? So we don't say, okay, everyone must try to prevent as many murders as they possibly can. No, that compels people to do something and that takes away personal freedoms. So what we
like
say is,
I don't
do
want to
not
be
commit murder. That is a moral baseline. That is a perfect example of a
vegan
moral
gains.
baseline. So do
I
you
don't want
think
to.
everyone should be compelled to stop as many murders as they possibly can?
Like I want to say something. You're interrupting me all the time,
Well, no,
by
I'm
the way,
not.
all the
You just
time.
start talking when I'm talking. So can you answer that question? Like, what do you have to
Like
say
I'm
to
just
that?
saying, like Okay, so you keep going further and further, even though when I keep it to the essence, right, which is what do you build a moral baseline on? You're talking about empathy. You say like, oh yeah, it's about don't do something to others that you don't want them to do to yourself. And then you talk about the social
No,
contract,
like
finally,
no.
and then
You're
about laws.
misunderstanding me
But,
again. You're
but
misunderstanding me again. When
I'm not
we're establishing moral
can
baselines, no,
you just give
listen.
5 minutes to explain something
Yeah,
instead of
sure.
interrupting me all the time?
Yeah, well, dude, you're misrepresenting my entire argument. So,
Okay. So therefore, you speak 99% of the
well,
time,
I'm
and
just, well, no, I'm just like interjecting to correct you.
no, but you're not interjecting to correct me. You're interjecting to stop me exposing how completely flawed your
Okay,
argumentation
well, you know
is.
what? Go ahead. Say what you need to
Okay,
say.
thank you. Thank you. So first of all, when you talk about laws and when you talk about the ability to, how they're established on a moral baseline, and you talk about freedoms and minimize murder, first of all, society, and definitely the West, goes to the cost of killing a lot of people. Like America goes to war in different countries to get their own benefit. So your freedoms that you experience right now go at the cost of lives. The entire society works like that. And I'm not coming here and judge that. I'm just saying like the laws that you're talking about and this framework that you're talking about is not that, innocent as you speak. So the moral baseline, when you want to establish it, you don't establish it based on the intersubjectivity of what other people agree on or whatever, because like you say, that's the traditional fallacy. Then you can use slavery as an example, that is fine. So what do you build true morals on? What is the true moral base? If I would tell you the answer to the true moral base, it is not your freedoms, because you can't be free without being responsible, because then a slave owner can justify being free and getting everything done for him because his slave is doing and taking care of him, right? So you need always responsibility. One cannot go with the other. So when you then talk, okay, what is then moral? And that's where you also said it very initially. You talked about empathy. Then you said, then I asked even more, and then you thought, oh yeah, it's basically cognitive empathy. I said like, okay, so it's about projecting in the other person and what you can do to the other person you don't want him to do to you. And I said, is it that? Then immediately, because you saw your fallacy, you saw you're being completely inconsistent, you said, you're trying to lure me to become selfless again.
No, I'm
Because
not.
you see that your own argument,
No,
but
I'm
wait,
not.
I'm not done yet. So
Okay.
basically, the framework that you're speaking about is one where you are just doing what is right or wrong to the extent that you're comfortable with. It has nothing to do with freedom, by the way. It has to do with the extent you are comfortable with. And that's why you have such a hard time saying no to the donuts, because it's your life. It's what makes you comfortable. And that's the same reason why people eat meat. And if you say like, oh, that
Okay.
means you should only be selfless, you should only be
I
selfless.
think
But
I
wait,
understand where you're coming from now. I
because,
think I
wait,
understand where you're coming from now.
no, wait,
Okay.
I'm almost done. One more
Okay.
minute. So if
Okay.
you say like, okay, like people should be, completely selfless, I would say like if people would be selfless, right, and would just do what they believe is right at any given moment, then you wouldn't even need laws. You wouldn't even need this social fabric, because people wouldn't want to harm others, and you base that on reality and logic. You use reason to see what are the consequences of my actions. Okay, I eat meat, I kill animals. Okay, fine, I stop eating meat. Okay, I eat donuts, I can use that to save lives. Okay, I stop eating donuts. If you keep that fully, you will even see that you don't even have to sacrifice that much at all. Because look at, like, if you just live a life where you try to have the biggest impact possible, what is it that you sacrifice? It's merely some comfort. And even then, we still live like kings. It's all just a barometer based on where you put it, the extent to which you have a bigger or lower impact. And the funny thing is, when you just derive it, why do you live the life you live? The reason why you live the life you live is because you are selfish. The reason why you make the videos and point fingers to other people, call them hypocrites, is because you are a hypocrite, because you don't take it all the way. And the reason why you don't take it all the way is because you are the same as the people you criticize. And that is why I'm having this debate, to just expose and point that out. If you truly cared about animals, then you would do more. If you truly cared about changing the world, you would do more, because the only thing you have to pay, it's not your freedom or the concept of freedom.
Well,
it is the taste of donuts. So you can't make the logical argument like, it is fine to eat these donuts.
Okay, dude, listen. You're you're
baseline,
completely misrepresenting my argument. Like, again, you're completely misrepresenting my argument. I never said that we should live completely selfless lives.
No, I'm just saying, like,
No, no,
If
no. Like, again, you're completely misrepresenting my argument. I never said that we should live completely selfless lives.
yes,
I never
but I'm
said
telling
that people should be
but vegan
compelled
gains, I'm
to
not
do
saying you
everything
said
in their
that.
power to help someone else.
Like
I said
vegan
that we
gains,
should establish moral baselines.
vegan gains. I'm not saying you said you have to live fully selfless lives.
Well, you
I'm not
did.
saying you said that. No, I'm not saying
You
you said
literally
that.
just said that
I'm
you should
saying,
live selflessly.
I'm saying if you want to be consistent within the framework
Well,
where you say,
like, again, I am being consistent because I never said that you should live selflessly. I never
but
said that
that's
people should
exactly
be
why you were
compelled.
being inconsistent. But like that's
What
why
is,
you're
sorry,
inconsistent.
okay. Let's back it up here. What exactly am I being inconsistent about again?
You're being inconsistent because you value comfort more than doing what is right. And that is why you eat your donut instead of spending that time
I
and
never
resources to
said,
help more.
listen, I never said, like, again, you're making the exact same argument. You're putting words into my mouth. Like,
Okay.
you're saying that I was trying to argue that we should live completely selfless lives. I
No.
never said that. I never said that we should be compelled to do something
I didn't
to
say
help
that at all.
others.
But like vegan gains,
You
I didn't
did. You
say
literally
at all.
just said that. Like, do you
No,
not
I
understand
said-
your own argument?
I said that you value comfort more than doing what is right. That is all. And I'm fine with that. But don't go and point fingers for other
Well,
people
no,
doing
not
the
not
exact
not
same
like
thing.
again. You're basically putting words into my mouth. I never said I
Okay.
value
That
comfort
your-
more
is-
than doing what's right.
Is that your
Like,
counter
like,
argument?
again,
You're putting words
like-
into my mouth when I'm just exposing your inconsistency?
There's
I'm
no
just showing where you're
inconsistency here.
inconsistent.
All I said that like we already have moral baselines established in our legal system. Do not kill. So
the
why
thing
is it
is, like,
wrong to also apply that
But,
sort of
but the
reasoning
thing is,
to
like
animals?
you're going back a layer up in the rhetoric
Okay,
table.
okay,
and
look,
ranting
I'll
about moral
point out- I'll
baseline,
point
and then
out
when
why-
I ask,
Look, I'll point out.
then I ask what are moral baselines? You say empathy, and
No,
I say
I
what
never
is
said
empathy?
moral baselines are based on empathy. I
Yes.
never said that.
What?
I never said moral baselines
Okay,
are based
people
on
can watch the
empathy.
pod. You said that moral
You're
baseline
mixing
is based
no,
on-
like you're conflating and mixing up terms I've used. I
Okay,
said
but-
that we should base our
no.
moral system off of empathy, but I
you
also
know,
said
beauty-
but what I said was
Live
we should
streaming is people can go back.
Well, yeah, well listen to what I'm saying right now. I never
Okay,
said that
so now you
moral
change.
base
So what is moral baselines based in on?
Well, moral baselines are based on our moral code. Like that's why we establish moral baselines. But the thing we do when establishing moral baselines is we don't consider, okay, what is the most good we could possibly do? No, when we establish moral baselines, we try to consider how can we uphold moral standards without infringing upon personal rights and freedoms.
Vegan gains. You know what I find really fascinating? You built all your rhetoric, all your big, like show on moral baselines, and then I ask you, what is it built on? And you can't even answer the question.
I just answered.
What is it? What is it concrete?
What do you mean? I just answered that.
Okay, so it's the moral
Well,
code.
well, listen. I'll just go through it again, just so you can understand. Hopefully.
Yes.
Well, listen. Listen. When we're establishing like sort of a moral framework for what's right and wrong, we
Yes.
basically use empathy. Okay, well, I'm a sentient being who doesn't want to die, and I can understand that that other person is a sentient being that doesn't want to die. So
now you say the moral baseline is based on empathy, and literally a few minutes ago you said that was not the case.
I
And you
didn't
say
say
that-
moral baseline. I said moral, how do we establish a moral system?
So no, we're
Like
talking about
you
moral
keep
baseline.
no, like sorry. Can you just listen? Can you just listen to my reasoning
No,
because
can
you
listen to
keep
yourself? Can you listen to
misunderstanding.
what you're saying? I think you should be listening to
No,
yourself. 'cause you're
can you just
contradicting-
shut up for 2 minutes so I can actually so I can actually attempt to help you understand what I'm saying?
Are you
so-
talking to me?
So listen, when we're trying to establish sort of a moral framework for what's right and wrong, we use empathy. That is, and we actually have experiments on rats that show this is actually a biological thing we have. Like our sense of morals are actually linked to our biology, and
I
we use
understand.
empathy to
understand it.
base our moral systems on. So
I understand that.
dude, listen. So let's say murder, for instance. Okay, is
No,
murder
wait,
right or
wait.
wrong?
What is empathy to you? What is empathy?
It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's position and understand what they're thinking and feeling.
Okay, I'm completely fine with that. So if you, right, look at someone else, right, you put yourself in his position, right, and you question yourself, would I want to live the life I live right now if I knew that I was
That's
that
not what I'm
person?
arguing. Look, that's not what
No,
I'm arguing. Again, you're just trying to create straw mans.
there is the inconsistency.
Listen,
That's
no,
where
you're
you're a
just trying to
hypocrite.
create straw mans and you won't let me finish so you can keep
What?
attacking a
Strawman?
straw
What's
man.
a strawman? I'm
Listen,
literally
no,
proving-
look, I asked for just 2
proving
minutes and you
unmoral.
keep interrupting me and you keep misrepresenting my argument. So just calm down and let me
I'm just
explain.
asking you to
Just calm
explain.
down and let me explain, okay? Can you shut up for just 2 minutes so I can explain this? Okay, so when we're thinking of moral systems to, base our, when we're thinking of how to choose right from wrong. So let's say murder. Is it right or wrong to commit murder? The way we establish what is right or wrong is we think, okay, well, this is how normal people think. I don't, maybe a psychopath wouldn't think this, obviously. But most people have empathy, and they think, okay, well, if I was in their position, I wouldn't want to be murdered, so therefore murder is wrong. And
Okay.
then there's, without even establishing any laws, there is an implicit morality established where you won't try to murder that other person, and that other person won't try to murder you.
I'm fine with that.
That's a social
I'm fine with
contract, okay? So
Well,
when we're
like-
actually establishing
Don't
laws
even go
in
back.
society...
We're still on that base of rhetoric, right? Like we're on the fundamental base. Okay, so you're talking about empathy.
No. You can't skip this. No, you can't skip this part because
What?
this is
I'm
very,
building
very
on the
important to
foundation
animal
of
rights.
the moral
No,
baseline.
you can't. No, shut up.
Foundation.
You have to listen to the second part of my argument.
No,
So
no, because
no. You keep skipping over this very important part,
that's
and then
not
you
true,
make a
because-
straw man and
like
attack
vegan
the straw
gains.
man rather than my actual argument. No, you
Vegan
can't
gains.
you can't misrepresent me like this. No, I
Vegan
won't
gains,
let
if
you
you-
finish. No, let me finish the argument, and then you can talk. So,
But the thing is,
we
like, if
argue-
you build-
no, shut up. Let me finish the argument, and then we can
If
talk.
you build an argument
Shut up.
and
Let
the
me finish
foundation
the
is flawed,
argument,
everything
and
you
then
build
we
on
can
is
talk.
flawed.
Stop talking and let me explain.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Go ahead, sir.
okay, so when we've already established that murder is wrong because I wouldn't want to be murdered, and we can establish a social contract where someone else doesn't try to murder me, and then I won't try to murder that other person. That is, that's a very simple social contract. So when we establish laws in a society, we think, okay, well, how can we preserve personal freedoms but uphold this standard of morality like don't murder? Okay, so what is the most reasonable, rational, logical way to maintain personal freedoms but also uphold that moral standard that murder is wrong? We say, do not murder. We don't say, you have to go out and do everything in your possible power to prevent as many murders as possible. You have to save up all your money, eat as little food as possible, be as frugal as you possibly can, so you can save up as much money so that you can donate to charity organizations. You also have to become like a police officer or an investigator and prevent murder. You have to patrol the streets just so you can make sure that no one ever murders. No, we don't do that because it's completely unreasonable and it takes away personal freedoms. That is what a fucking moral baseline is, and that's what I'm arguing. Veganism is a moral baseline where you just don't kill animals. I'm not saying that anyone should be compelled to do as much as they possibly can to save animals. Is that simple enough to understand?
Like, if you're done, I will go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because everything you said, right, this entire rant is completely irrelevant because you base yourself on inconsistency. It's like in equations, right, in math. If you want to solve an equation and you start with a wrong input, right, variable, your entire, outcome is wrong.
Right.
And basically, we're going back to empathy, right? Let's go back down where you started your argumentation to get all this other stuff. So basically, you're saying like empathy is the extent to which when you're projecting another person, you don't want to do to them what you don't want them to do to you, right?
Right.
Okay, quite simple. So if you do something to them that you don't want them to do to you, you're doing something wrong. You're being a hypocrite.
Right.
Yes?
Right, like murder, rape, stealing. Right.
Okay. Now imagine, right? Really practical. Imagine you are starving, right?
Okay.
In one room. And you in the other room, you have the choice to eat a donut, right? or to have 2 plates of lentils, one that you can give to him and one that you can eat. And you have the same, even more nutritious value. And the reality is that person doesn't have to be hungry. But now my question here is not so much like this or that. Imagine you're the one that is starving. Would you want the guy that is eating a donut to eat more healthy and to share his food?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you're trying to make things as abstract as possible and
No, this is not
ignore the
abstract,
moral
by the way.
baseline issue.
But the thing is, you don't even have to talk about your
Look, this
baseline.
isn't how,
No, wait.
like, you're trying to
Vegan
make
Gains,
reality
here's the
work
flaw.
in a
Here's
different
the
way.
flaw. You're using your moral baseline again, but you build it on empathy. I'm talking here about empathy. About
Okay, again,
pure
you're
empathy.
totally misrepresenting my argument. I never said moral baselines are based off of empathy. It's just upholding moral values while maintaining personal
You
freedoms.
just build it all on it, man. Like, you're really sounding like someone that doesn't
Right,
even know
right.
what you're saying.
Keep misrepresenting my
I'm
argument.
not
Whatever.
I mean, like, this is really crazy. You're not listening to what you're saying. You literally
No,
built an
you're not
entire
listening
argument.
to what
I mean,
I'm saying.
So if, like, everybody that is watching this stream is saying, like, but Vegan Gains,
Okay,
you are
okay,
constantly
Athene,
doing it on empathy.
Athene,
They're all listening
Athene.
to something else.
Okay, Athene, to give you this example again, are you against child rape?
But the thing is, like, that.
No,
like,
let's just go through this again to
But
point
the thing
out
is,
why your reasoning is wrong. Are you or are you not against child rape?
it goes further deeper. Do I care about, on a fundamental level, cognitive empathy, which is do not do something to another that you don't want them to do to you. And from
Right.
that comes not wanting to child rape. So instead of having these really simple one-liners, I go to the cause of the source code of why it is wrong to rape a child.
Why
And that
is it?
has to do with you don't want to do to someone else that
Exactly.
you want them to do to you. It's
Totally.
quite simple.
Totally.
But that applies to all your life. Everything you do, if you do things and you can save other people or you can have a much bigger impact, you're at that point making a choice between your
No,
comfort
again, now you're talking
or the
about
impact.
removing personal freedoms, which I think is inherently
No, it's like,
wrong,
no,
and which is why it's
personal
important to establish moral
freedoms is not-
baselines.
Personal freedoms is not a card that you can use to take away your responsibilities, because then I can use the
Well, yeah,
same
it
one
is.
saying, like,
Totally
my
is.
freedom is to eat meat. It's my personal freedom to eat meat. Don't take it
Well,
away.
and well, no, like again, okay, well, it's my personal freedom to murder people. Don't take it away.
No,
Like
because you go to
again,
jail if you do that.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You
Does
go to
that
jail.
justify murder?
What?
Like I can just say it's my personal freedom to murder people. Therefore, I should be able to murder people.
Well, you will have to face the consequences.
Well, yeah, but again, like just because something is legal right now, that doesn't make it morally justifiable.
But you are just building yourself on the moral baseline, right? And then you talk about laws, right?
Well,
And you should
yeah,
go based
but
on something
again,
like
I'm
empathy,
I'm not
right?
using laws to say that killing animals is moral.
I'm just saying, like, I'm fine eating but the moral stuff, you don't care about morals. You care about the
Yeah, I
extent
do.
to which you are comfortable. You don't care about animals.
Yeah, dude.
Vegan
Okay,
Gains.
okay. You don't care about
care
children
about-
getting raped because you don't spend your entire life and everything you do to preventing children from getting raped. This makes no goddamn sense.
No, because like what you're now doing is you're taking.
No, sorry, you can't expect everyone to have
No,
like.
but like let me address your question,
Right.
right? If I say, like, okay, children rape is really wrong, right?
Right.
And I want to be, and I go about it from a logical framework, not an experience one, because there is two frameworks. There is the one where you say, sorry, rape is wrong because of social conditioning and how you grew up and everything, right? And there is rape is wrong because of a logical reason. So if I'm just the average man on the street, I would just say rape is wrong because I grew up in a culture where it's wrong. If I would have grown up 3,000 years ago, it would be different. But
Right.
the difference with a logical argument, because that's the thing, like emotionally, it is fine to eat meat. And then you say, like, but that's the tradition, the tradition fallacy. But then you go like, okay, if you want a common foundation, you have to start approaching morals from a more logical framework, a more consistent one. And that's the one I'm doing. And when I'm talking about a fully consistent framework, right, then you need to be
Okay.
fully consistent within all your
Okay.
morals.
I just want to ask you. how would you, like, why do you think something like rape, murder, or stealing is wrong? Like, how do you decide
Logic,
why that's morally wrong or not?
pure logically.
Okay, so, like, take me through the process. Like, what is your reasoning behind it?
So basically, the reason why I don't do things that harm other people is because it's inconsistent within the equation of what you are. What are you? You're the product of evolution. You're the product of billions of years of evolution. You are and you are more than just this individual that you are. You are also the influences, the experiences you have gone through, and even the environment. Even the environment that you experience is part of you. So if you want to be consistent within life itself, then that means you just look at, you know, all the properties and all the aspects that has brought about your existence and try to be the most consistent within that framework. When you look at biology, evolutionary biology and what we are right now, what you see is that what even created us is evolution. We evolved to become sentient beings. And even that experience, when you look, but I'm just explaining everything, by the way, and I'm going to go to the moral compass.
I'm just hoping you're not going off track here. Like,
no, I'm just telling you why you can logically be a giving person without the need of all this moral base or whatever. So basically, when you just look at, you know, evolution biology and how we evolve, you can really see how technology and how our understanding of reality has allowed us to thrive like crazy. And being consistent within what you are is literally what allows us to exist. That's why if you go against it, you cease to exist. Like if you go against reality, if you go against what you are, being able to align yourself with reality, you cease to exist. That has happened with, you know, like any animal that is not enough, you know, being able to cope with its environment or whatever. So our ability to understand and our ability to gather knowledge creates a moral, like not a moral framework, but creates a framework where we can be consistent in. And if you do so, then harming other people makes no sense. Because if you harm other people, you go literally against what you are.
I don't know about that. Like, you're saying throughout our evolution, we didn't kill each other and wage wars?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that our ability to overcome these limitations has been given us by our understanding of reality, and that is why we even exist in such a prosperity society. So if you say like, yeah, but in the past there was wars, in the past there was rape, that doesn't.
Well, there's still wars and rapes and murders.
Yes,
like it's been ongoing throughout human history.
Yes,
I don't know. What I'm still not understanding is
it has been reducing at a rapid pace, and the extent to which we are, you know, understanding
reducing at a rapid pace. No, like it's been increasing. Like no point in history have more people been killed in the last century.
Okay, percentually.
Sorry?
Percentually.
Well, what do you mean? Like
you gotta look at percents, right?
Sorry?
Because else, even if like you gotta look at percents, percentually.
What is this with percentages?
Like basically, if you have a population of 7 billion people,
okay,
right? If there is like 100,000 people that die from war, that is relatively a lot less than if you have a population of a few million and there is 100K or 10K die. So you have to look at it proportionally. And if you make that claim, every evolutionary or every historian will look at you and laugh at you, because that's not true. It's only getting better. Life has never been so good.
Well, I'd agree.
I know you really love facts, by the way.
Well, no,
really
like I'd agree. Well, I'd agree with you that life is getting better, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm in full agreement with you here with the percentage of people who die from wars.
Oh, of
course. I mean, what General Mao in China? Like he killed 100 million of his own people. Like, I don't know. That seems pretty bad to me.
If you look at the time we live now, right, and the amount of people that died, like. Since 2010, it's the least amount of people that died in wars compared to the past.
Well, you mean as a percent of the total Earth population?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not really sure.
Same with
I would have expected it would be about the same, if not more, because of technology. Like we have bombs and automatic rifles now. So
like, that's really the kind
I'm
of
not
stuff
sure if I'm in total agreement with that.
Look a lot more profound. Do some fact check on that, because really, like, this is really known. This is just known what I'm saying. It's like when you talk about arguments of health and there is studies about it, you can just look that up. I mean, like, you don't have to argue with me. I don't want to argue about just what is just a fact, but like, I'm just saying, like, it's how it is. And our ability to understand in technology, and mainly mutual assured destruction, which is the nuclear, the nuclear power of certain countries, has brought more peace than ever. And it's because, like, you know, like, it's in your own best interest to cooperate with other people. If you go against each other, we wouldn't even exist. If Russia goes to war, humanity ceases to exist. So
well, what you're talking about here again is like social contract. Like well, again, what you're talking about here is social contract, and that's really what you've been talking about this entire time.
No,
like, I don't think
I'm just
you actually...
saying, like, logically speaking, if you want to be consistent with what you are, you need to find a bridge to work together with other people in a way that you don't...
Right.
You're
social
not
contract.
You're not each other intruders. You have to find
right.
a way
social contract. You're explaining what a social contract is.
Well, I'm mainly like, but the thing is, like, what I'm explaining here is how you can get to a logical framework of morals without the need of laws. You can just reason this.
Well, no, like again, you don't need laws necessarily, but you know, they're kind of important in a large scale society. Like, sure, we can establish implicit morality, fine.
In a large scale society where people are driven by selfish interests, comfort, and experience, then laws are required. And that is why, you know, like, that is also the case for you. Because you are driven by experience and comfort. And whenever I point out your hypocrisy and expose you, you use the freedom card. But like, you can't talk about your freedom. Your actions have consequences. It's that simple. And when you don't take, you know, if you don't take full ownership of the consequences of your actions, you're a hypocrite. Definitely if you point fingers to other people and tell them how they should be living their lives.
Okay, here's where I think something's getting lost in translation. You're kind of equating not doing whatever you can to help someone as actually murdering them.
1 second.
Do you get what I'm saying here? So with the donut example, like, you're saying, okay, well, I could just eat lentils a lot and then save up my money and then, you know, pay money to, like, save them.
Okay.
That's not the same as actually actively murdering them. Like, there's a pretty big difference there. You're not making... Well, wait. You're not making a distinction between actually committing murder and just not doing something.
Like, so basically you're telling me that you either have to be like 100% selfless, or
no, I'm not suggesting there's any sort of ultimatum. What I'm saying is we should establish moral baselines where, like, you know, don't murder, don't kill, don't steal, and if you so wish to personally live like a more moral life, like maybe there's an issue that you really care about, like maybe you want to be a police officer so you can stop murders or rapes from happening, like, that's fine. But I'm not saying that we should establish a moral baseline where people are compelled to do that sort of thing. Sorry?
Why do you draw the line with veganism?
What do you mean?
Why do you say, like, you should be a vegan, but you should not,
sorry?
You know, say what?
Go on, sorry.
So basically, like, if you say it's not about being 100% selfless, okay? I understand that. So why draw the line with a vegan and say, like, yeah, going further than that, you don't have to, because freedom.
Okay, so you're saying personal freedom doesn't matter?
No, my question is, why do you draw the line? You gotta be a vegan, and everything above that, when it comes down to, you know, sharing some more or whatever, freedom, you don't have to do that. But veganism, you gotta do that. Why draw the line?
Like, again, because veganism is essentially a moral baseline. Like, you're not making you don't seem to be able to make a distinction between not committing murder and actively trying to prevent murders. Like, there's a difference there. One doesn't compel you to do something.
But the thing is, you keep talking about extremes, like killing other people and stuff. Like, my question is,
well, I'm not talking about extremes.
If you use freedom as a justification to live a very freely life that goes at the cost of other lives you could save, why should I even care about your morals, about animals, if you don't even care about...
Okay, so you're saying that we should live in a dictatorship where everyone is forced to work for everyone else.
Say what?
You're saying we should have no personal freedoms and we should live in a dictatorship where everyone is forced to work for everyone else.
No, like everybody has this choice themselves. The difference is I'm not going around, if I would be like you, to judge people, telling them how to live their lives. That's all.
Okay, so
Because I
if
know
you
that I'm
were
inconsistent.
okay, going along that thought, so if you saw somebody murdering someone or raping children, you'd say, well, you know what, that's your own personal freedom. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
What?
You just said you wouldn't
I
go
don't
around
understand
telling
what-
people what they're doing is wrong. You're saying like they should have personal freedoms. So like what if you saw somebody doing something like murdering
That's
someone
your
else
argument.
or raping someone else, you just say,
But-
well,
but-
that's your own personal freedom to do so?
But like VeganGains, you're using your own argument and making it sound like crazy, and that's exactly the point. That's why you can't use freedom as an argument. You're actually contradicting yourself by saying what you just said. Yeah, indeed, you can't do that. You can't use
could you
freedom.
actually point out the contradiction? Because again, I don't understand what
Yes,
you're saying.
because I'm saying you can't use your freedom as a waiver for your morals, and you say like, yeah, you need a moral base, and then you say like, okay, so if you say, oh, your personal freedom, you can have your personal freedom. Someone is raping and killing, so he has his personal freedom, so it's fine. No, that is your argument. That's your rhetoric. It's not.
No,
mine.
it's not. No, again, you're either removing the part where I talk. You're removing either one of two parts of my argument. You're either saying, okay, you're either removing the part where I explain how we establish moral systems, or you're removing the part where I explain what moral baselines are and why they're important. And here you're doing the thing where
No,
you're removing
that
the
is-
part
that is
where
not-
I talk
that is
about
not-
how moral systems are
I'm not-
developed.
Like the thing is, I'm not removing an element. When you talk about elements, right, you can't just establish elements out of thin air. You
Well, no,
have
I'm
to
not.
build them consistently with logic.
Yeah,
Well,
I am.
why not? Then I can just say like, okay, I just eat meat because that's how it is. Like you need to be consistently, like logically found to make an argument. So why even care about eating animals or not eating animals if you can just make up rules out of thin air?
I'm not
You
just
gotta
making
build
up
them.
rules out of thin air.
So they have to be logically consistent, right?
Right, and they are like
can't just
again.
pick
Can you
two
point out the
elements, say,
logical
but-
inconsistency here?
But the thing is like VeganGains, you can't just start with two elements that are inconsistent
No,
in
sorry,
itself,
like, sorry.
and then say you're not accepting this. Of course, it's flawed.
You're
If you come to
either
me and say, the Bible is real, right? If you make an argument saying the Bible is real, then of course you can start quoting the Bible all day to prove your point, that whatever point. But if the Bible is, a book that is written by other people, right? Then you can't make that argument. But if you use the Bible as your truth, right, just as much as you use your moral base as the truth without understanding the underlying logic, then of course you're going to create a flawed construct of moral paradigm.
Again, what's wrong with my
Because what is wrong
base
with the
logic?
paradigm is that you're saying, okay, moral base, and here you're going to even disagree, even though you say.
Well, I
together,
don't start off my argument from a moral baseline position. I talk about how
You say
we
a moral
actually
baseline is built on empathy.
No, again, you're
Okay.
totally misrepresenting my argument.
So
I
what
went
is
through
a
this
moral
3
baseline
times.
built on? What is a moral baseline built on?
Moral baselines are built on the idea that we already have an established sense of morals, like whether it's right or wrong to kill someone, and we find a way to implement that moral system while maintaining as many personal rights and freedoms as possible.
But like,
So when we
basically-
say... Sorry?
yeah, like first of all, it's tradition fallacy. But what I also, because you're now suddenly using what is people culturally fine, you're using that as an argument to build your moral baseline, and you say that's some tradition fallacy.
Well,
because you
it
can't
doesn't
use-
like it doesn't necessarily have anything to do
because
with
people are
tradition.
fine eating meat, so you can use the same argument to justify that. It makes no sense what
No,
you're saying.
like
man.
again, you're taking away elements from my argument.
But no, I'm just
Yeah, you
asking
are.
what is a moral baseline built on?
I
and when
just
you say what
told
it's
you-
built on, I
no.
pinpoint, then it's fine to eat meat when everybody's fine with it.
No, that's not what a moral baseline is.
But I'm just saying, like, what you build your moral baseline on, saying like, yeah, people feel like good or bad about, killing people, and then we put that in laws. Well, if I feel good about eating meat and killing animals, then fine.
Yeah, and that's why.
also-
And okay, and again, you're removing the first element from my argument.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, so well,
you
we're
build
back
your
to
moral
name the trait.
baseline,
No, we're at the name the trait argument. So if you think it is wrong to kill to kill and eat a person, correct?
No, but the thing is, like, You
No,
first have to, you
listen,
first have to
listen.
establish what morals are.
Wait
You
a
cannot
second.
just say like this is wrong and
You're
this
getting
is right
into
out of
you're
thin
getting into
air.
meta ethics. It's pointless. Do you
No,
or
it's
do you
not meta-
not? No, do you or do you not believe that it is wrong to kill and eat a person?
It's like whether I say yes or no, it's
Well,
irrelevant.
no, it is relevant. It's totally relevant. Do you
No,
think
that's not
it
true,
is
because if you
wrong
would-
to kill and eat a
if you would
person?
if you would ask someone in freaking like someone that executions people on
That's
death
fine.
sentence,
No,
is it
like,
fine?
you know
would say,
what?
like, I'm fine
There's a
with it.
certain level of subjectivity with morals. I don't care. So I'm just talking about you personally. Do you think
No,
it's wrong to
because
kill
that
and
is
eat a person?
tradition fallacy. You can't build
No,
an
it's
argument on
not.
tradition fallacy.
No,
You
it's
can't use my-
not. Do you or do you not?
can't
No,
use
no,
my
no, no,
moral-
no. This is important to.
But-
No, it's important to point out
You
logical
don't use my
inconsistencies
moral
with someone's
compass to
argument.
make a case. You can't use my moral compass to make a case.
Yeah, I can. I totally can.
You can?
You're saying it's wrong to point out someone's logical inconsistencies?
No, I'm pointing out. Well, it depends.
What do you
Sometimes
What do you
it is.
mean?
You're a hypocrite, yes. In your case, I would say it's just inconsistent because you don't care about what you
No,
yourself.
no, no. You like, okay, first you argued that I wrongfully made an assumption that it's wrong to kill animals. Okay, well, let's go over why it's wrong to make that assumption. So we're back to a name the trait argument. So clearly there's a trait that is missing in animals that is present in humans that gives humans enough moral value to make it wrong to kill and eat them, correct?
Talking about empathy, and I'm just trying to really.
Okay,
very
so
much-
you're ignoring the question now. You're ignoring the question now. You're ignoring my question. No, it's a very simple yes or no question.
That's not true.
Is it or
Like, you
is
have-
it not wrong to kill and eat a person, given your moral views?
It depends.
What do you mean it depends? Like, no, if I were to
If
just
I
walk
crash-
outside... Sorry?
If I crash with a plane.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking
No,
about
but that's
that
the thing, it's
clearly.
subjective, inherently
I'm
subjective. You
clearly
cannot
not
build an
talking
argument
about
on
that.
It's subjective, you know that.
What do you mean it's subjective? Like, it
It's
doesn't
subjective.
matter
You
if
can't
morals
say
are
more-
subjective or not. Okay, you have your own subjective interpretation of morals. Let's move forward based on that.
Well, if
your
you-
subjective
but that-
interpretation of
you can't
morals,
do that
is
as an
it
argument.
morally
You can't-
acceptable to kill and eat a person
You can't
if you don't
use
have
my
to?
moral compass to
Yes, I
justify
can.
a collective moral compass.
No,
where-
that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. That's not
Okay,
what I'm
so why
doing.
you
So just
asking?
answer the question.
But that's irrelevant. I just pointed
No,
out
it's
that's
not.
irrelevant.
No, it's not.
So it's not irrelevant.
No, it's
I
not.
think it's pretty relevant what I personally think, what is morally right or wrong. You really think that is relevant to this
Oh, okay, so I
conversation?
can just shoot and kill you? Like, are you saying morals just don't exist?
I'm just saying, like, it's irrelevant what I think about murder
No, it
or
totally
not.
is relevant, because this is
No,
your
what is
reasoning for
relevant-
eating
What
meat.
is relevant, what is relevant
It's
is
totally relevant, because this is your reasoning
is-
for eating meat, and that's what we're discussing. So why
not
can't you answer the question?
whether murder is
Okay,
wrong or
you're
right.
just being dishonest and evading the question because you know where it leads to.
That is not true. That is
Totally
not true.
is. That's why you won't answer it. So then just answer it. Just humor me and answer it.
But no, because you have to understand the
Bullshit,
underlying.
bullshit. You know you're in a corner. You know you can't answer the question without...
What?
Just answer the fucking question. Given your moral compass, is it
Okay,
right or wrong
I'll
to kill
answer
and eat
your
a person?
question if you allow me to give it then context.
Okay, well, no, I'll provide the
No,
context.
you don't allow me to give
No,
context. And
well, no,
they-
I'll give you the context. Is it
Okay, I'll
morally
answer your
right or
question
wrong
and then
to
I'll
kill a
give you context.
person if you don't need to? So in a non-survival situation, is it okay to just walk out on the street, kill some random person, and eat their corpse, even though you don't need to? You could just go to a grocery store.
I will answer your question and then give it context. Say no. Like what? Like
Yeah,
I'm not allowed
horseshit.
to-
Just answer the fucking question. It's very easy to answer.
No, but can I give it context? Yes
Yeah,
or no?
fine.
Okay, thank you. So yes, I do think it is wrong to kill a person, but the reason why I think it is wrong is not because I think inherently murdering is wrong. It's because my idea and my opinion about murdering being wrong is a consequence of an underlying reason why I think it is inconsistent, and that boils down to cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is the extent to which you don't want something to happen to you that you don't want to do to someone else.
Right,
And
okay. Okay, great.
of course, I don't want to get killed, so I don't want other people to die. And I'm just consistent
why
in
can't
that
you use
argument.
that
But I
same
go even
empathy
further.
with
Wait.
animals?
I'm still giving context. If I know that me eating a donut goes at the cost of other lives, I don't want to eat a donut. I'm as consistent in that regard as
Okay,
well.
well, me eating a
If
donut
I can
doesn't fucking
share
kill
more
anyone,
and save
so...
lives, then I do that. Then I don't go like, oh no, So if you talk about this moral, nice little palace of your freedom, trying to protect of every criticism when it's about the consequences of your inactions, you're being a hypocrite. Why are you the person that can just say it's veganism?
If you use cognitive empathy to determine that it's wrong to kill a human, then why don't you do that with animals?
There is people that are a better person than you and are eating meat.
Okay? What the fuck does that matter?
Well,
does that make it okay to murder animals for no reason?
Say what?
Does that make it okay to kill animals for no reason?
No, what it makes
okay, so what the fuck does that matter?
No, it matters everything, because if you want to build a consistent argument where you are saying like, oh, because you just admitted you can be a better person. You just admitted that you can be a better person. Would you agree with that, yes or no? That you can be a better person? What do you mean,
I could be a better person than I am now? Yeah, okay, well what the hell does that have to do with it being okay to kill animals?
One sec.
Like, no, you're avoiding my question again. If you use cognitive empathy to determine that it's wrong to kill a person, you wouldn't want to be killed in their position, so why don't you do that with animals?
I want to quote you.
Wrong is wrong, and if you recognize wrongdoing but still continue to do it, what does that make you? Can you honestly look in the mirror and call yourself a good person?
So basically, you're telling me that you know that you can be a better person.
You're saying I'm doing something wrong by eating a donut?
Of course, you can be a better person.
No, sorry, are you saying that I'm doing something wrong by eating a donut?
Yes, if you know.
Okay, so I have to live a life completely unselfishly. I have to do everything for everyone else in order to not be wrong.
It's not about doing everything for everyone else. It's just about
then, obviously you believe in the concept of a moral baseline. Okay?
No,
so I don't even know what you're arguing here.
Like, you're trying to trivialize it, because
no, I'm not.
But can you listen to, like, if you say you want to do everything for others and you neglect
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Then that's what you just said.
No, I didn't. I've repeatedly said over and over again that's not what I'm saying.
You say that that's what I said, that you have to do everything for others, selflessly.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
That literally is what you're saying.
And let me tell you why I'm not saying that. Because if you do everything for others without taking yourself into the equation, you will just starve, and that is inconsistent. That is inconsistent. That is why
So you believe in moral baselines that maintain personal rights and freedoms.
No. When you are talking about pure consistent morality,
I'm not talking about pure consistent morality.
It also includes you as part of the equation, because if you take yourself out of the equation,
I'm not saying that is the whole point of moral baselines. It considers the personal individual as important and not just everyone else. That's why I said moral baselines are important.
But the moral baseline doesn't even talk about the personal freaking...
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's the whole point. It protects personal rights and freedoms.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, like, the personal rights and freedoms to the extent where it does not go at the cost of other people.
What are you talking about?
About what you're trying to say right now. If you talk about a moral baseline...
moral baselines...
takes into account your personal freedoms and your personal, your personal desires, right?
But it upholds a certain standard of morality. No, moral baselines uphold a standard of morality that work to maximize personal rights and freedoms.
The morality fundamentally means that it doesn't go at the cost of others.
No.
No? So it can't go at the cost of others?
Well, I don't even know what you're really trying to say now.
No, I'm just trying to dissect the inconsistency of your moral baselines.
There's no inconsistency. So moral baselines uphold a moral standard
without responsibility.
Sorry?
You can't have freedom without responsibility. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can have freedom with no responsibility? What do you mean?
Oh, so basically you can be free and kill other people and do whatever the fuck you want?
Yeah, you could if you wanted to. You have the freedom to do that, but the thing is, we have things like social contract.
Freedom is inconsistent within its own equation. Because in order for you to even be able to be free, the environment has to allow you that freedom. So if your environment goes against that freedom, you can't even express that freedom. So freedom within its own consistency
You're talking about a social contract
to be responsible. if you
You're
have
just
many
talking about a social
individuals-
contract again. You don't even understand what you're
No,
saying.
that's not true. I'm just saying that freedom
Yeah, it is.
cannot go without responsibility. This is really basic.
Okay, well,
this is
you're really just
101
you're really just
philosophy,
talking.
by the
You're
way.
really just explaining a social contract. I understand
No,
how a
I'm just
social
explaining
contract
that
works.
you can't talk
Again,
about
let's
freedom
go.
without responsibility.
Let's go
That is
back to the
really-
name the trait because I think that's what's important here. You said that you use cognitive empathy to determine whether or not it's right or wrong to do something to a human. Well, why do you
And
use a
cognitive-
why do you use a totally different standard to determine what's moral when it comes to treating an animal a certain way?
But the thing is, though, like the reason why I just say like I'm saying, do you talk to the meat eater or to a thing? If you talk to the meat eater, I'm just like you. I care about my comfort. I care about my experience, and I'm just as good as is comfortable, just like you. And the
Okay,
only
are
reason
you
why
saying? Listen. Are you saying that eating a donut is the exact same thing as like a vegan donut? By the way, are you saying that's the exact same thing as killing animals, ripping them apart and eating them?
if
There's
you
nothing
spend
morally
that
different
money-
with that.
Well, yeah, if you spend the money that you eat the donut to the right charity, then it's definitely a lot worse because you can actually save a life with that. And that's to me more important than reducing chickens.
No. Listen.
No?
Is eating a vegan donut that's made out of flour, sugar, water, and a bit of yeast, is that the same thing as killing a cow and eating it?
But the thing is, it depends on the consequences of eating.
What do you mean the
donut.
consequences? No, like I'm not talking about what you do with your reserve money after you buy food.
No,
I'm
that-
talking
that's
about the
how-
actual
that's
action
the
of
reality, though. Like-
choosing that particular food.
The consequences of your actions is defined by reality, right? We both agree on that.
Okay,
It's not
you
defined
can't
by
even
your
answer these
ideas or
questions
beliefs.
honestly. You can't even answer these questions
But
honestly.
yes, I can.
No,
I
you're not.
can.
Like it's a very yes or no. It's a very simple yes or no answer. Is it the
donuts.
no? Is killing and eating a cow the exact same thing as making a vegan donut and eating it? Like it's made out of flour, water, sugar, and yeast.
Okay, I want to answer your question with your own words.
First, I want to point out how manipulative this argument is. It's an attempt to trivialize wrongdoing by oversimplifying what it means to be
Okay, again, how is it wrong to eat a vegan donut in and of itself?
Wait.
Like your whole argument hinges on the idea that if you don't save up your money as much as you possibly can and then donate all of it to charity, then you're doing something wrong. I don't see how that's
Like
wrong.
the thing is, the thing is what you're trying to do here, right? You're really
I'm not trying to do anything. You're the one trying to
You're trying to
misrepresent my
trivialize the
entire
argument.
argument and make up bullcrap.
No, but like I'm just saying, like if you know the consequences of eating that donut can cost a life. then that is-
How does it, no. This is the issue. How does eating a fucking donut cost someone their life?
Well, because if you choose to donate the money to save a life.
No. No, I'm getting so pissed off. You are being so fucking dishonest. Eating a donut doesn't cause someone to
Stop
die.
yelling. Enough. You're scaring the dog.
Yeah, okay.
Enough.
How
You're
the
scaring
fuck
the dog,
does
you
how the
animal,
fuck does eating a
bro.
donut cause someone to die?
If you make another choice instead of eating the donut,
Bullshit. That doesn't cause death. No. You're making a logical. No, you're making a huge fucking logical jump that doesn't make any fucking
no,
sense.
I'm not making logical.
You're not
jump
making
out
any
and
fucking
act
sense.
The consequences, and if you act more in line
No,
with
it's not.
reality,
No,
you
eating a
can-
donut doesn't kill
It saves
anyone.
so many
Eating a
lives,
donut
it's so much-
doesn't kill anyone.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You have the knowledge. If you have the knowledge, right?
Okay, so you're saying no. Wait. So if there was a burning building and there were people in it, and if you didn't run into that burning building and save them, you killed them?
Well, you could say if you run in there, you risk your own life. Do you
Right.
risk your own life?
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Did you kill
Man,
them?
I just played the straw man argument. You're trying to throw them all the time, man.
No,
You're
I'm
just
not.
using-
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
yes. What
You're
what
basically
kind of
saying that if
example
you
is that?
don't
So
go
stop-
out of your way to save someone, you're
Is
killing
running
them.
into a firing building? Like seriously, are you even hearing
Okay, so
yourself?
if you don't go out of your way to save someone, you're killing them.
Just
Right. So
just-
okay. So if you buy anything,
You use the same-
anything at all, you're killing somebody because
But the
you
thing
can
is,
use
like-
that money to save someone.
But the thing is, like, I would go as far as saying, like, if you really want to be completely morally consistent, where
No.
But you see, like, I'm answering your question. If you want to be fully morally consistent within your argument,
Donut equals murder. Yeah, that's being logically consistent. Donuts equal murder, guys.
but-
You have to buy the lentils to save people. Okay?
like, you are the one going
It is
around
ridiculous.
telling vegan. You are the one that is being a hypocrite. You're the one that
Yeah, dude, I ate donuts on my birthday. I'm killing so many fucking people by eating donuts. I'm being morally inconsistent.
On your birthday while you're praising healthiness. You're being a hypocrite. That's all I'm saying. You say one thing, and you
I
do
tell
another.
people to exercise, and just the other day, I sat down and watched cartoons. I'm being a hypocrite.
If you can spend your time more productive and have a bigger impact.
Oh god, yeah, here we go. Like, again, you're just making an appeal to futility argument. If you don't do everything you possibly can to reduce suffering and death as much as you possibly can, then, oh, you're being a hypocrite. Therefore, it's okay to do whatever you want. Like, it makes no goddamn sense.
But like VeganGains, it's about a lifestyle. Just like veganism is a lifestyle where you try to minimize the misery in the world. For animal cruelty, you can have a lifestyle that is so much more inspiring.
Again, this is why moral baselines are important, because if you don't establish moral baselines, then you're basically saying we should live in a dictatorship where everyone is forced to do everything for everyone else.
You're just rambling. You're rambling
No,
because
I'm not. No, I'm not. You're the one
because
rambling.
You can't just be a bitter person.
Yeah,
and you know
right.
you
Donuts
can.
equal murder. Okay,
No,
okay, we
like,
got your
don't-
argument. Donuts
You're
equal
doing
murder.
it again, this common argument. You're just using one simple example and make it look like, oh, that's the argument. No, it's about the underlying logical framework. It's like if you say you eat healthy and then you say like, oh, you shouldn't eat meat because it's unhealthy, and then you eat donuts, you're being a hypocrite.
No, I'm
That's all
not.
I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not being a hypocrite then.
No. Well,
Okay,
what do
so
you mean?
how?
Well,
Like,
no, I'm vegan for moral reasons.
Like, but the thing is though, like you also point fingers to people. You even tell them to die from cancer because they eat meat. You really
Okay,
crush
well, I
them.
didn't like. No, again, you're taking things out of context. Like that shit with Furious Pete. I don't literally want him to die of cancer.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're pointing fingers, telling people to live more healthy, and if they, are getting cancer, whatever, they deserve it. I'm just saying, like, if you are eating
Well,
unhealthy
no,
yourself,
I
you're the
pointed
last
out. I
one.
pointed
You're
out
the
that
last one
Furious
to make
Pete
that
shouldn't
statement.
get any sympathy for his cancer when he won't give any sympathy to animals. That has nothing to do with eating for
Because,
health.
like, the sympathy you're talking about is like because of the like now you're combining a moral argument with a health.
You're stuffing your head so far up your ass. You're literally saying that eating a donut equates to murder. This is fucking
that's not true.
ridiculous.
You're
I don't
trying
think
to
there's.
simplify
I honestly don't think there's anywhere to go from here.
You're
We've
trying
been
to simplify
debating
the
for about an
argument.
hour,
Even-
51 minutes. I think we should
You-
just
you-
end it here. No,
you-
you're being
you
fucking
simplify
retarded.
the
You won't
argument
even
because
answer
you
my
know-
fucking questions. When I ask you about the name, the trait, you just refuse to fucking answer any questions now, and you're telling me I'm a murderer for eating donuts. We're fucking done. Anyway, like, I'm sorry things got heated, but I think we're done here.
It's fine. I mean, the viewers get to decide and watch. I mean, if you want to make the entire conversation about a donut because it makes you feel better, go ahead.
Yeah,
It's fine.
like you know what? Like things got
Go-
heated. I'm sorry it got I'm sorry. I
don't
I
have to
can't help it.
apologize,
I'm
'cause I
so
know
goddamn
when-
pissed off.
You don't care so much about it. You don't care about reason.
Well, you know what? You know what? Like we made it to name the trait. You couldn't answer my fucking questions. You kept
But I
avoiding
did.
every single question because
Okay,
you
so
knew
what's your
exactly what
question?
that would lead to, and then you call me a murderer for eating donuts.
What's-
Okay,
what's the
like
question?
that's it.
What's the question?
Well, I asked you to name the trait difference between humans and animals that makes it morally unjustifiable to kill and eat humans, but it's morally justifiable to kill and eat animals.
Based on Athene or based on the meat eater?
Like, based on your argument.
Like as a meat eater, because
Yeah.
to me, what I value most is my comfort and
Okay,
my
that's not what I'm
experience.
asking. That's not what I'm asking. So you do understand, like, you do think that it's wrong to kill and eat people, correct?
Well, it's wrong to eat and kill people. Yeah, like that is the reason why that is wrong is because of the way I grew up and the way I'm in a social framework.
Well, that's fine. Well, why do you think it's wrong to kill and eat people? Like, what are the traits of a human being that make it wrong to kill and eat a human being?
It's defined by my emotional conditioning. And
Well,
the
I don't care.
arguments-
Well, what does your emotional conditioning tell you? What are the traits that makes it wrong to kill and eat people?
Like, but now you're asking for the logical reason behind it.
Well,
I'm
right,
just saying, like,
What is it? What is it?
I'm just an emotional being that values my comfort and my
Okay,
experience
so
more
you
than
really
anything.
have no reason to do anything, and you just do whatever
I just-
anyone tells you to do.
I only use reason when it can benefit me.
Okay, well, I think we're done here then.
But you do the same.
No, I don't. Like, we're done here. Like, you refuse to understand, like, the moral baseline concept. You make a logical jump where if you don't save up all your money and spend it on charity, then you're
Say it
killing
again.
people. Like it makes no goddamn sense.
I,
So
I just showed
we're
you
done
this-
here. You won't even answer the name the trait argument. Like
I just
we're
answered your
done.
question, bro.
What?
I just did. I just did.
What question?
The name and the trait argument. I just answered that.
No,
I
you
said to
didn't.
me,
You didn't. You just said, "Well, I personally do everything that like I've been brought up to do." You didn't
Yeah,
actually
that's-
name a specific trait in humans that gives them life value, but you didn't like.
but it's just like the way I've been conditioned emotionally.
Right,
as I grew up.
that's not naming a trait. I asked you,
Like,
name a
I'm
trait that
asking
is
for
not
naming a
present
trait,
in
you're
animals,
asking
that is
for
present
property.
in humans, that gives humans the right to life, but it doesn't give animals the right to life.
But you're asking for the properties and stuff. I'm just saying I don't care about all this. You
Right,
know,
you don't care. Okay, that's
Like,
all I
I
needed
don't
to
care
hear.
about
You
all
don't
this-
care.
this-
Right, you
this
don't care.
structure.
Right.
I just care about my
You
experience
can't
and my
name the trait.
comfort.
Okay, you can't name the trait. You can't give any logical justification for why you think it's okay to kill any
But I
animals.
don't care about.
And
being
all
like-
you can,
I-
all you have to say to me is,
justify my
well,
act.
you don't donate all your money to charity, so you can't tell me what to do. Okay,
I'm not doing
that's
logical.
it. Like,
I'm-
look, this has gotten totally pointless. This has gotten totally pointless. So let's just end the stream. I think we're both getting too frustrated here.
No, I'm not being frustrated. Actually, this is quite funny to me. To
Yeah,
just
well, we've hit a brick wall. I think we've gone as far
see,
as
well,
we
you hit
can
the brick
here.
wall, which is your own delusion and
Right,
hypocrisy.
yeah, right. Killing donut. Well, you know what? You convinced me. Eating donuts kills people, so.
Yeah, try. Like this is really like what politicians love to do is simplify the issue and keep going. It's literally what you said yourself. Like I really want you to hear this. By the way, 1 minute. This-
What?
Wait, like
Okay,
this.
I'll let you say this, and then I'll just end the stream, because I'm getting too
Okay,
frustrated,
okay.
and I think we've hit
That's
a brick
good.
wall here.
Listen to this. It's your own words.
But first, I want to point out how manipulative this argument is. It's an attempt to trivialize wrongdoing by oversimplifying what it means to be a good person. This is essentially a straw man argument where instead of actually acknowledging the real criticism that it's wrong to torture and kill animals for no good reason, they're changing around the argument to mean you can only be a good person if you're vegan, which is an absurd statement.
So basically, you're doing exactly the same by just turning this entire conversation into a donut talk, even
No,
though
no,
the
I'm not.
donut is merely an example to point out the inconsistencies.
No,
that you're
it's
actually-
not. There's no inconsistency
consequences.
here. You're just making up inconsistencies in your own head. Okay, so
okay.
that's
Comment
it.
the stream yet.
So that's it. I'm going to end the call here, but I'm going to answer all the comments in the super chat.
Sure,
So,
no problem.
I'll just end the call here. Thanks for having me on, Athene, and
problem.
I'll be sure to link your social media in my video in the description
that's
after it
good.
uploads. Like, and again, sorry things got so heated. Like, you know,
It's fine.
it's sort of how
It's fine.
things go.
Apologizing.
So, talk to you later, dude.
See you, man.
Alrighty, so... Alright, so now I'm just going to answer all the comments in the super chat. Athene, the Durian Rider of the gaming community. I haven't seen his Twitch, really. Yeah, Mail, I think. Mail donated $2.50, and he left that comment. I haven't seen any of his like Twitch stuff. Apparently he is actually vegan. He just was making an argument from the perspective of a meat eater, which was really weird. It's very strange that I was just arguing with somebody who's actually vegan. Whatever.
What, is he vegan?
Yeah, that dude's actually vegan.
Wow, what a retard.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, but I guess he was trying to come up with the best argument for why it's okay to eat meat. I don't know.
I guess he's one of the reasons why other people don't go vegan.
Like, I don't know his actual goal. Like, I don't know what his goal was for this whole debate, but, like, it was sort of an interesting conversation, but where he really lost it was he just kept misconstruing my argument where, like, I explained myself very simply. Like, we already have established moral systems where it's wrong to kill a person because a person is a sentient being who doesn't want to be killed, and you wouldn't want that to happen to yourself. And we have moral baselines that uphold these moral principles, but they also protect personal rights and freedoms. So, like, it's wrong to murder people, don't kill people. That's a moral baseline. So why can't we just use that exact same reasoning with animals? And, like, he couldn't give a reasoning. Like, he couldn't actually explain why that reasoning was wrong. He talked about how if you eat expensive donuts rather than lentils, then, you know, you won't have as much money left over to donate to charity, so therefore your moral system is wrong. It made no sense. Ronaz Productions donated €5. Thank you for working so hard for the animal rights. By the way, this is a great rap song about vegans. UK lad bus a rhyme blows everyone away. Thank you very much, Ronaz Productions, and I'll check out that rap song later. Damn. Why does it skip so far? Anzurgo X donated €5. Have you ever built a house with the protein of a nut? No, I think you need wood for that, and wood has a lot of fiber in it, so, you know, don't forget the fiber when you're building a house. And thank you very much for the donation. No Name for Now donated $5. Hey Richard, keep up the great videos, man. I just wanted to know if you're pro-choice. If so, what are your arguments for it? I look up to your opinion. So I am pro-choice. I think abortions should be legal. My reason for it is fetuses aren't sentient beings, so I don't see anything wrong with, you know, destroying a fetus. And the fewer unwanted children there are in the world, the better off society is. Like, we don't need more people dying in the military or just ending up in prison. So I think it just benefits society in every way imaginable. And it really, like, there's nothing even wrong with it. Like, you're just destroying something that isn't even sentient. Like, obviously it could become sentient later on, but who cares? And really, like, guess who does the most amount of abortions? God, quote-unquote. Obviously, I don't believe in God, but most pregnancies end in miscarriage, so, like, just who cares? So that's my perspective on it. Buzz Mixes donated £10. Have you ever done the E. Cornell online plant-based nutrition course? It costs $1,260. Check out the video, Dr. T. Colin Campbell and the Plant-Based Nutrition Certificate by Center for Nutrition Studies. I've heard of that. I don't know. I don't think it's worth me paying over $1,000 for, because I think I'm pretty well versed in things. So I don't think I'll drop down that, you know, that kind of cash for it. But yeah, if anyone's interested, I think it's fine for them to do. And thank you very much for the donation, Buzz Mixes. Shining Star just donated €5. Oh no, sorry, £5. AtheneWins, I think you are being dishonest in your arguments. Surely you can understand the points that VeganGains is trying to get across. Yeah, like, I mean, he had to. I don't know if he was just, like, he is just stupid, or if he was deliberately misinterpreting what I was saying. It seemed like he was deliberately misinterpreting what I was saying. But yeah, like, I don't understand what was so confusing there. Like, he even admitted that the way he establishes like, moral value is with cognitive empathy. He just thinks, okay, well, if I was in that person's position, would I want this to happen to me? If not, well, then obviously I shouldn't murder that person, shouldn't steal from this person. So if you use that kind of reasoning to determine what is moral or immoral with regards to humans, why can't you use that exact same reasoning with animals? And he wouldn't give me a reason for that, and then he started talking about how donuts kill people. It was retarded. But thank you very much for the donation, Shining Star. Omni Zhao donated $5. If you would kill a non-human to save your own life, would you kill a human, even if they wouldn't kill you? If not, hashtag name the trait. Okay, let me read that again. If you would kill a non-human to save your life, would you kill a human, even if they wouldn't kill you? I guess it sort of depends on the context. Like, if I was stuck on a desert island with Jasmine, then I wouldn't kill her to save my own life. I'd probably, like, give up my own life to save her, because she matters so much to me. But if it's just some random person, then yeah, I'd value my life as more important than theirs, even if they wouldn't try to kill me. So yeah, if it's to save my own life, I would, like, desert island situation, I would. Thank you very much for the donation, by the way. Amelia donated $5, and she wrote down a bunch of donut emojis. Yeah, Amelia, like, you gotta cut back on the donuts. For every donut, you could save a human life. Or an animal life, I don't know, depending on what charity you donate to. Fuck's sakes. Thank you very much for the donation. Josh Reed donated $5. Richard, this isn't an isolated incident versus continuous scenario. This is an appeal to, you can always do more, don't fall for it. Yeah, like, the basis of his argument was, like, an appeal to futility, and appeals to futility just don't make any... Hey, Jasmine, could you turn down the volume or use headphones or something? Like, appeals to futility don't make any sense, because he was essentially saying, well, you could do more to save animal lives, so since you're not doing more to save animal lives, therefore it's okay to kill animals. Like, it makes no goddamn sense at all. And thank you very much for the donation, Josh Reed. N, his name is just N, the letter N. He donated $10. The difference between eating meat and giving up donuts is that meat is a direct cause of death. Eating meat equals negative, whereas eating donuts equals neutral. Exactly. He's making this huge logical jump that eating donuts equates to murdering, and I even tried to point out how it's not the same. I asked him, okay, is killing a cow and eating that cow the exact same thing as eating a vegan donut that's just made out of, like, flour and sugar, basically? And he wouldn't answer. He just kept trying to find ways to avoid these fucking questions. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone noticed, like, why his argument didn't make any sense. Like, you all realize that, no, donuts don't equal murder. And thank you very much for the $10 donation. Daniel Bennett just donated £5. This guy is the Durian Rider of the gaming world. Yeah, like, I haven't checked out his gaming channel, but yeah, he's kind of annoying. Like, again, he's vegan. I don't know what his actual real-world position on things are, but he was being kind of frustrating and annoying. Like, really, the only way to argue for eating meat is to be dishonest. If you were being honest, you'd either have to admit that you're a psychopath, or, you know, you have to admit that eating meat is wrong. So you have to play mental gymnastics and be dishonest, say eating donuts is tantamount to killing people, so, like, that's the only way you can reason it. And thank you very much for the donation. Sugary Liver donated €2. Athene loses, what a fucking retard. I'd have to agree that he lost the debate. I don't know if he was deliberately being dishonest. Like, I'd imagine he was, because he is actually vegan. He just said he was going to argue from the position of a meat eater, so I don't know. Like, I don't really know what's going through his head. That surprised me. I actually only found out, like, the day before I was going to debate him that he's actually vegan, so it was really weird. Love Blood Tear donated 20 sec. You go, Richard, your vids really are needed / Caro. I don't know what you meant by Caro, but thank you very much for the donation, and yeah, thanks. Like, I'm glad people value the videos and information I put out. Intellect123 donated £20. AtheneWins argument is... AtheneWins' argument is asinine. He's rambling to stop VeganGains responding, argues that vegans should have absolute morality, yet he supports the needless death of other sentient beings because he personally feels he has the a right to. Like, he wouldn't actually explain why he thinks it's morally acceptable to kill animals. Like, basically he was saying, I don't care, as if it's an argument, and refusing to actually explain his position. And then when I actually explained my position, he was claiming that I made false assumptions, but then he wouldn't explain why I was making false assumptions. Then he'd just say, eating donuts is tantamount to murder. So, Nothing made sense. And thank you very much for the big 20-pound donation, Intellect123. Sugary Liver donated another €2. God damn. Guess there's a fire. He said Judith. I don't know what he was trying to say there, but thanks again, Sugary Liver. Jay Anderson donated $5. Moral basement fallacy is when you save a kid locked in a basement but not give him your donut money. Yeah, I guess I'm a hypocrite because whenever I save children from abandoned buildings, I don't give them my donut money. See, veganism just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. Intellect123 donated another £5. Athene is a moron. He is being dishonest and inconsistent. He knows we as humans can map cognitive empathy to all levels of sentience, including animals. That's absolutely true, and when I tried to grill him on basically the name the trait argument, he wouldn't answer. I got him to admit that he bases his, moral compass on empathy, but then for some reason he can't explain why he doesn't extend that empathy to animals. Makes absolutely no sense. And thank you again for another donation. Male, oh man, I fucking missed my place again. Oh, there we go. Male donated another $5. VeganGains exposing Athene's poor thinking for what it is. Everyone should throw a few bucks your way for this public service. Thank you very much, Male. Obviously don't feel totally obligated to, donate money to me, but, it helps. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Male. Space Lord 246 donated 100 NOK. Fucking Athene can't even debate against veganism without personal attacking Richard. What a low-life cuck. Get your head out your ass, Athene. Yeah, that's usually what that's usually what ends up happening when you're debating, the ethical principles of veganism, because, they're either going to have to admit that they're wrong, or they're going to, they usually just end up trying to point out some sort of hypocrisy on your end, which still has nothing to do with my argument. I could be the worst human being imaginable, but, my argument that it's wrong to kill animals still stands. So, yeah, he had to claim that I'm a hypocrite because I eat donuts, which result in death. And thank you for the donation, Space Lord. Male donated another $6. Ding, ding, ding. VeganGains wins by knockout. Good game, everyone. Thank you again for the donation, Male. I think I won that debate. When you start saying donuts equate to murder, I think you win. Ferris Cadwell donated $2. Vegan donuts are healthier than regular ones. Absolutely. They don't contain any dairy. I know some cake donuts contain eggs, so vegan donuts are a better alternative. But they do kill people, even though they're vegan donuts, so... I think this is pronounced Matthias, or Matthias. I think Matthias Baloo Duncan. He donated $5. Athene was so far away in his bubble, miles away from the debate, I don't even believe that I heard one single good argument for Meat Eater in this stream. He didn't actually give an argument for eating meat. All he really said was, I don't care, and he just pointed out that I could do more to help animals. And that's not an argument to eat meat. Okay, even if I could do more to help animals, that doesn't really justify eating meat. So, nonsense argument either way. I'm just going to turn up the brightness on my webcam a little. There we are. Anselm Matthew donated €2. Thank you very much, Anselm Matthew. QV? Kevy? I think it's either QV or Kevy. He donated 50 sec. VeganGains, remember that you're trying to convince the audience, not Athene. Might help you to stay calm in future debates. You're doing a great job. Man, like, the donut thing, like, when I realized what he was trying to do with it, it just pissed me off so fucking much. He was trying to compare... He was trying to suggest that not doing something is the exact same thing as murdering something. So if you don't actually go out of your way to prevent a death, that's the exact same thing as actually committing murder, and that pissed me off so fucking much. Like I apologized to him and everything, but you know, it's hard to keep your cool sometimes. And thank you very much for the donation, Kevy, or Queevy, whatever. I can't pronounce names. Patrick N793 donated 50 sec. He's a troll and a retard. Yo, Richard, you did great. I almost got heated only listening to that pleb. Like, I don't know, if it makes anyone feel any better, he's actually vegan, so... That's what makes this so weird. I wouldn't have thought, like, a vegan would come into a debate doing that. Mark Murphy donated £10. Thank you very much, Mark Murphy. Anselm Matthew donated another €2. Thank you very much for the donations. Sean donated $5. Great debate, mate. Keep up the good work. Rich, also, when will Epic Vegan Eats come back? I miss it. I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of going to go back on a diet for a few weeks because I ate kind of shitty for my birthday, so, like, I don't know. Maybe in a little while I'll eat some retarded junk food, but for now, Jasmine is having her birthday at late August, so maybe then, like, I'll do something like that, but I kind of don't want to eat junk food all the time. I don't want to get fat, but thanks for the donation, Sean. No Name for Now donated another $2. Oh, and also, what do you think of Jordan Peterson? You know, I'm going to make a video on Jordan Peterson because he made 2 videos that covered the topic of animal rights. And one was specifically about animal rights, and he had the most retarded position you could possibly imagine on animal rights. He clearly has a very strong bias there that's coloring his opinion. Basically, he conflated veganism with social justice, and he said, therefore, animals shouldn't have any rights, because if you support the concept of animal rights, you're a social justice warrior and you're trying to take away rights from individuals, which is just fucking retarded. I don't understand how he could think animal rights take away individual rights. Like, it's just stupid. And thank you very much for the second donation. Seg Pasta donated 50 sec. Athene is a cult leader who has made a video about the meaning of life. He is a complete retard. You can't take him seriously. Like, well, again, I knew going into the debate he's vegan, and it was hard to take him seriously at any point, like, really, because, like, I understood he wasn't being totally genuine, but what he came up with was just so strange. I could never have imagined anyone would tell me eating donuts is tantamount to murder. João Marquez. Sorry for butchering these names, by the way. He donated €5. Hey, Richard, just want to support you on being so calm lately. Keep it up, man. We all understand how hard it is. Big hug from Portugal. Thank you very much, João. Sorry for butchering your name. I'm trying my absolute best to keep it calm, but, you know, by the end of things, when they keep contradicting themselves and misrepresenting my argument, and it keeps going over and over again in a repeating circle, it's hard to keep your cool. Mark Murphy donated £10. You need to check out Athene's documentary on logic and such gibberish. Enjoyed this debate. Hi to Jasmine as well. Thank you very much, Mark Murphy. I'll check out more about Athene. He seems like a weird guy. Like that's all I really know about him. He just seems weird. I don't. It just this whole thing was very strange. But I'll definitely check out more of his channel and content and what he does. And thank you for the donation. Mexican Zoidberg donated $5. Oh my god, that was so embarrassing. At the beginning of the debate, he basically admitted that he's a aimless retard with his head in the clouds. Yeah, like, that's what they have to do, because when you ask someone, why is it morally justified to kill animals, they're either going to have to come up with some absurd reasoning, like Destiny, who says, you know, life doesn't exist, suffering doesn't matter, like, it's totally fine to torture and kill animals, or they're just going to have to say, I don't care. Like, they can't answer that question honestly, so... Lockmock, or Lochmock, I think it's Lockmock, donated $5. Are you going to debate the Vigilant Christian? Because he has been calling you out. Be funny if he loses his mind again, so please, VeganGains, give him no mercy. That would be an interesting debate. Like, I think he's vegan, so he'd want to debate Christianity with me. You know, I think I'd be fine with that. He is a nice guy and everything, but, like, he is crazy. Just from talking to him, you can tell, like, there's something a little wrong with him, but he is genuinely a nice guy. Like, I don't have any real hate towards him. I'd be fine debating Christianity with him. Yeah, like, and he's vegan, so he can't be that bad of a dude. Like, he's at least honest enough to admit that it's wrong to kill animals, so... crap. Missed my... Okay, here we go. Universe9 Basil donated £5. Do you always clap your hands when you get mad? Yes, we saw that. No, I don't always clap my hands. I don't know, that was just a weird reaction. I don't know, I just got mad and wanted to hit something, so I guess I just hit my hands together. Thanks for the donation. Anselm Matthew donated another €2. Check out what I've learned and debate low carb, please. Check out what I've learned and low carb and debate low carb. Okay, I'm guessing that's a YouTube channel. What I've learned. Okay, I'll take a look at this channel, and okay, they have a lot of videos, so I'll definitely check them out. And if they have any stupid videos, I'll definitely, respond. Pepe donated 10 sec. Thank you very much, Pepe. Rect Annam donated £1. Thank you very much, Rect Annam. Lunar Winter donated $2. Thank you very much, Lunar Winter. Spire 107 donated $2. Athene's logic also applies to not eating meat. Yeah, basically, like, I guess you could put it either way. Like he said, I just do what I'm comfortable with. Like that's the problem. There's no actual principle behind it. He's basically just saying, I do what I want. But then on the other hand, he says he bases his moral compass on empathy, so it still doesn't make any sense. Thank you for the donation, Spire. Frinks donated 50 NOK. Good job. How is wildlife management handled in a vegan world? Any differences from status quo, wolves and overpopulation of some species, etc.? It's a little complicated. I mean, I'd imagine letting wolves, like natural predators, kill off animals like deer would be a better situation than, killing off both wolves and deer ourselves. Like, I'd imagine. I'd also imagine, like, that having more wolves around means it's a little more dangerous to live in certain areas, but, like, I'm not sure. Like, it's a complicated kind of topic, and I think just as a society, we have to figure out ways to solve those problems as, they pop up. It's a little hard to really know for sure how we're supposed to deal with everything right away. Vegan... Oh yeah, and thanks, Franks, for the donation of 50 NOK. Vegan Germain donated 2.4 euros. Debate Thulian perspective and his about veganism. I'll check out Thulian perspective, and if he's interested in having a debate about veganism, then I probably will debate him. Oh, he's that hunter guy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if he was fine with having a live debate, then maybe. I probably will make an actual video response to him, though. Tyler Chu donated $2. He says, call Destiny. Like, I should call him? Like, you mean for this debate? I don't know about that. I don't know why I'd do that. Daniel Panich donated $2, or sorry, €2. Thank you very much, Daniel Panich. Gargos15 donated $5. Great work, but miss your old format of shorter vids. Old worst of the fitness industry. Why men should go vegan for Valentine's Day. Plans for more of those. Yes, I am working on a worst of the fitness industry video. There's 2 that I really want to do right now. So in the next few days, you'll actually see the next worst of the fitness industry. And, you know, I kind of want it to be a surprise, so you'll see a new worst of the fitness industry soon. And thanks for the donation, Gargos. Skeld, I think, donated 20 DKK. Could you please call Destiny? I don't know what you mean by call Destiny. Like, we've already had a debate. Like, what do you mean call him? Thanks for the donation, though. V Vast donated $2. Do you still listen to 21 Pilots? I don't think I've ever listened to 21 Pilots. I don't recognize that band. Are they a band? I don't know. American musical duo. I've never listened to them before in my life. Kiefer Hunter donated $5. It's more feasible for people to save money for charity to save a life by having donuts or lentils when comparing it to eating meat. #plants. Well, yeah, that too. Like, I mean, if you're going to eat meat, meat's more expensive and more costly, and it has more of an environmental impact than eating, like, vegan donuts, so I don't know what the hell... Like, this makes no sense from any angle whatsoever. If he was going to say, okay, well, you should do everything in your power to save as many people as possible, well, you should still go vegan then, dumb fuck. Makes no sense. Lunar Winter donated another $5. Please look into utilitarianism. It is the only sensible premise to argue from. Moral baseline isn't an argument. I'll look into utilitarianism, but no, the moral baseline makes perfect sense. If we already have an established moral code, and we already have moral baselines like don't kill, don't steal, don't rape, it makes perfect sense to apply those same moral standards and moral baselines to animals. Like, we shouldn't kill animals, we shouldn't rape animals, we shouldn't torture animals. I think that makes absolute perfect sense. I don't understand the confusion there. I think that argument is perfectly reasonable. But thanks for the donation anyway. Tori Lamerton donated €5. Cool to see you talk with him, learning lots from reflecting on it. And thanks for the donation, Tori. And, like, I think that was a productive kind of discussion. It was interesting. I think he lost, but it was an interesting debate. No Name for Now donated another $2. How do you stay calm, Richard? I get angry fast. I get angry fast too, but I just try to hold it in for as long as I can, and then, like, eventually it just explodes out. I don't know, I think having it explode out is a bit better than just being consistently angry, so that's how I deal with it. Daniel Tabibian donated $2. Call Destiny, he wants to talk to you. Oh, I see. Well, I can look on Twitter. Ayo, bud, if you want to chat for a couple minutes, I've got some input on the Athene stuff. The dude is a fucking dipshit. Okay, sure. Do you want to make a hangout? Okay, I'm gonna give Destiny my Skype. So I'll see what he says in response to that. Thomas Flynn, tips for anger issues. I made a video about anger issues recently, and for me what really helped was understanding that the anger came from within. Like, nothing external was making me anger, it's just the anger came from within. And once I recognized that, it really helped with my anger. So, like, if you understand that you're the problem and you need to make changes, then it's easy to deal with. If you blame everyone else and everything else for your anger, then you can't really do anything about it. Simon Teleskin donated 100 rubles. If you argue for non-initiation of force, you should also argue against taxation, at least argue against punishment for not paying taxes. I don't know about that because, again, like, there's practical issues with having laws that, you know, don't force people to pay taxes, because I think basically no one would end up paying taxes, and then there wouldn't be a government. And like, I'm sure private businesses would be in place, like, would end up popping up in place of government. But again, do you want the police force to be private? Do you want fire to be private? Do you want all the roads to be private? Like, I don't think it's a great thing to have everything privatized. I think there should be some social systems in place, like, you know, police, fire, healthcare, schooling, things like that. And thank you very much for the donation, Simon. Mark Murphy just donated £10. Third £10 donation, but who's counting? Check out a channel name. Name is James TinyVest, who is needing help/ideas to switch to fully vegan. I check out your channel often, and a seed has been planted. Okay, yeah, a lot of people have told me to check out James TinyVest. I'll definitely check out his channel. Okay, so I'm gonna do the Skype call with Destiny right now. Yo.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so you
Favorite neighborhood
checked out
psychopath.
Yeah, so you checked out the debate?
Yeah, I've talked to Athene in the past.
What do you think?
So Athene is a really good debater in that he is really good at kind of like rebranding and redefining things to be as intellectually dishonest as possible.
Totally.
So, I was just listening. I just like random memes. I don't think anything that you learn from this debate will help you in any other, because there aren't very many people that are quite like him. I don't know if you know his background, but like he claims to have like PhD level knowledge of like quantum dynamics, evolutionary biology, and neurobiology, and there might be a couple other that he claims PhD level knowledge in as well. He's a pretty memey dude. And listening to it, I guess the only thing that I think fucked you really hard was I think you let him get away with the donut thing, as memey as that sounds.
Well, I didn't really let him get away with it. I didn't totally understand what he was trying to go there with it.
Okay, so are you familiar with the concept of utilitarianism?
Not too well.
I think oh shit, my philosophy is really shit, but like I think utilitarianist, I think, essentially argues that you should be like maximizing that every person in a society should be maximizing the happiness or the well-being of that society in like every conceivable way, right? And one of the ways that one of like the really tongue-in-cheek ways that people try to argue against utilitarianist ideology is they'll say something along the lines of like, if you're really a utilitarianist, why do you buy a cup of coffee? And you're like, well, what do you mean? And like, well, because you could donate that money to starving children instead, right? And that's kind of like the big like gotcha for the utilitarianists, right? And there are people that are way smarter than me that have talked about this, but essentially the argument usually comes down to the idea that no sane individual human can really live their life in such a way that they are absolutely maximizing the well-being of everyone else at every single possible moment. It's just not realistic,
well, that's
right?
why I was bringing up moral baselines too, because if you're going to say like that should be the moral baseline where you maximize everything, well, then you're taking away personal rights and freedoms.
Kind of, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, but then the sketchy thing there is that then he gets you where he's like, well, you're taking away my personal right and freedom to murder another person, right?
Well, he agreed that murdering a person is wrong, so like taking away personal freedoms to some extent is okay, but like we have to establish what is morally right and morally wrong, and then from there we establish like moral baselines and laws that uphold these moral values, but also maximize personal rights and freedoms. Oh, what happened there? Okay, he just went missing. Okay. I'm just going to bring myself back here. I don't know what happened there. He just went off. Okay, I guess I'll just finish off the super chat, and then I'll end the stream here. James Harriet donated £2. More vids confronting fur wearers. They were great. Well, it's summer now. Like, probably next, like, fall and winter, I can do more of those videos, but, you know, it's summer. Nobody really wears fur in summer. Thank you for the donation. And Guarav donated 40-something. I don't know what currency that's in. It's just a weird squiggly line. Oh, okay, here we go.
Oh, wait, hello?
Hey. You dropped out there.
Yeah, something got dropped as soon as you started your explanation. I understand what you're saying in terms of like setting it up, but so like one of the things you have to be like really hyper cognizant of when you're talking to people like this is like what he essentially tried to do is he tried to sidestep all of your moral arguments, right? So the conversation is about the morality of killing animals for the consumption of meat, right? Is what the conversation is supposed to be focused on. But what he tried to do is he tried to pivot it to like an attack on your character. He was basically trying to ad hominem you to expose some level of hypocrisy because you weren't like a strict utilitarian. Right. And then once he exposes that, he opens that to show that, well, every single other person then can be hypocritical and murder as well, which is that's the only reason why I guess like if you're not familiar with that with the cup of coffee thing or in your case the donut thing.
How many times how many fucking times did I explain to him that I'm not in support of this idea that everyone has to live totally selflessly and maximize the well-being of everyone else? Like,
well, the problem is that like he kept trying to blow that into like, well, if you're saying that they don't have to live maximally, then I can eat meat because of culture or something.
Yeah. But again, I tried to get him on the name the trait argument. Like, okay, well, there's a reason why you don't think it's okay to kill and eat humans. So name the trait that is present in humans that gives them, you know, life value to the point where it's wrong to kill and eat humans, but like animals are clearly lacking this trait. So name the trait, and he wouldn't answer. He just kept dodging
because he would
question.
kept appealing to your hypocrisy or something, I think, whenever you would try to ask, like, or like appeal to tradition, too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, those kinds of conversations are really frustrating.
Yeah, and he was removing, like, very critical elements from my argument, too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, another really important thing that I don't think you picked up on. I only know these because I've talked to him in the past, and I see like how he sets his shit up. It's so fucking stupid. But something that would have been really good to pick up on was he actually believes that you're aware that to some extent all philosophy is somewhat arbitrary, right? When you're talking about like axiomatic beliefs, right? Now you can make stronger arguments for some than others, right? And you do a good job in showing that if you think an axiom is bad, the way to show that is to draw conclusions from it that the person that supports it wouldn't agree with, right? It's usually a good idea. So Athene actually believes that his axiomatic foundation for morality is logic, and he thinks that he's actually has like
that.
and
Yeah.
well, but he thinks that he has a 100% objective like moral truth of the universe.
Right.
I noticed that you hadn't picked up on that because it's a really ridiculous concept.
Yeah,
but that's another thing that informs a lot of his arguments. That's why I noticed that maybe you were thinking something different, but when he was saying that like how do I build my beliefs on logic, he didn't mean that he uses a logical or rational process to axiomatically build like from meta ethics to normative. He meant that like his system of thinking is actually the 100% objective truth of the universe.
Right. I totally missed that. I wouldn't have thought anyone would even think that.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. He's a really weird dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. I still think I won that argument pretty easily. Like, I don't know. When donuts, though, that's really what it amounted to.
It's gonna be the new meme,
so,
dude.
Yeah. What, we're up to donuts, though, green crab, though, venison, though, walls, though, cockroaches, though. There's a lot of those.
All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say. I just want to give some feedback there, just because Athena's like a very unique person. If you've never like spoken to her before, so.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Good luck, buddy.
All right. I'll just answer the last few super chats. Okay, that's it. So, thank you everyone who checked out the stream and who donated in the super chat. Really appreciate it, and it really helps me out. Next debate is probably going to be with Mike Barbarossa. I wanted to set up a debate with Cognitive Thought. He's not really giving me any straight answers. He's saying like he sort of wants to do it, but then he won't message me back. So it looks like Mike Barbarossa is going to be my next debate opponent. And in all likelihood, it's going to be next weekend, I think. So stay tuned for that. And as always, keep making those vegan gains. And thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.